Yo, shalom everybody. Welcome back to another video right here for you again on YouTube. What's going on? So last night I dropped into a quote on live stream of individuals who listen to a certain Mandela effect narrator known as Brian Staveley. We've mentioned him before.
Oh, and somebody in the chat wants me to address my Mossad affiliation.
But with that, though, I want to use this as a demonstration to show people that when certain ideals and ideas and topics that, really are kind of out there, which is odd because, I'm kind of out there as well. But when you have somebody who's out there claiming that shit's out there, then that's kind of off. So when somebody's hero comes under attack, they usually start to deflect and start going everywhere, and you'll see that with this instant that I'm about to show. It's nothing too much. It's me tackling the Mandela effect. People's certain heroes coming under attack, and there's certain belief systems don't necessarily correlate too well with reality, so those also come under attack, and necessarily they don't like it. So we're gonna tackle that pretty well, without any quote on graphs or charts or anything. It's just common sense and logic, which not too many people have these days. When you're involved in this kind of group of people with similar ideals and mindsets, but a lot of those mindsets kind of stem from, I have no clue, but I mean, there's nothing too much about it. You'll see me right now tackle the Mandela effect, Brian Staveley cronies, and the whole psyop within itself. And a lot of sideline remarks, a lot of assumptions, and a lot of beliefs. So, I hope you enjoy this. And, it is what it is. Peace out.
Like I say, people, run shit through the logic. Run shit through the logic. That's cool. There's Brian Staveley with us. Good God, what are you in the dark, bro?
Yeah, I'm on the porch.
Yeah, FAO Schwartz.
Yeah, I wanted to come in and
It was nasty. It was disgusting, and they should have all been ashamed of themselves. But they have no shame.
They're obsessed with sex and genitalia. They are really obsessed with it.
Who is?
Well, I'm talking about these people that are pushing this shit. The whole establishment, NASA. I mean, look at the first diagram of their moon lunar orbit and back to. This is great. We've seen cops fuck up before.
Oh,
but this is really fun.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't get all the videos of them not fucking up. But
this is the worst SWAT raid in history. This is fucking hilarious. Watch these guys.
Is this Waco?
All right, guys. We know what we've been trained for. I'll just leave the guns there. Don't worry about them. Would you leave the flashbang too? I think so. Okay, good. All right. I'll watch the hallway. 1, 2.
There he is.
There.
What's happening in Sacramento Truth Movement?
Truth Movement.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello. How are you?
How's it going?
Oh man, just
we're trying to contact you about your car warranty.
We're finding frog hair split 3 ways up here. How are you doing, Sacramento?
I'm doing good, man. Have I been up here before? This popped in my recommendation. I'm not sure what this is.
I don't believe you have, man.
I don't think we know what this is either.
We're a group of individuals that have open minds and freely think and talk about true Earth. How we're under a spell of deceit at every level, and what may or may not be
very
responsible
eclectic
for such
board.
things. So we're glitches in the matrix, Sacramento.
That's a good way to put it.
Cool.
It is. We're glitches in the matrix. This is why the system hates us.
It's a widespread phenomenon, man.
We don't see it the way they see it, in other words.
So what's on your mind, Sacramento? We was talking about Mandela effect, flat Earth. We was talking about the impossibility of space travel. I'm just getting ready to show predictions.
I know we talked about Mandela.
Oh, we was talking about
I'm
flat
still
Earth.
trying to figure out how I'm subbed to this page. I'm trying to remember.
He's doing the same shit when I got up here. I was like, how the fuck did I find y'all?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, I've seen this guy before. He was on Peniel Power's channel, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
All right. Okay.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going great. I was just getting ready to show a thing. Somebody had brought up how the Simpsons always is predicting all this shit that happens, right?
Hey, you got to give
The episode is A New Hope, okay?
They didn't start putting it on the movie covers until after the other ones started.
I can show you a million different movie covers that are from all around the world, too. So they had like a different artworks and shit. Let me pull this up.
God damn it, I have to go fucking email this shit to myself.
See?
Can I just say something real quick? I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt this joke.
Go ahead,
I've heard somebody
that one right there. That's
reference Mandela.
Yeah.
I've heard someone reference the Mandela effect. I just want to throw something out there.
Yeah.
Brian Staveley is a Mossad agent.
Okay. You want my take? I mean, this is a complete joke. Oh, and somebody in the chat wants me to address my Mossad affiliation. Yeah, whatever, pal. Stick it.
Yeah.
Marvin, I'm being joined right now by a New York City firefighter, Morel Gibbs. He's been...
Is he? Brian Staveley.
Leave it
Brian,
like that,
did you hear
yeah.
that? You're a Mossad agent, Brian. You're a Mossad agent. Yeah. I've been doing some shit with Brian Staveley. Let me see. So let me see here. C3. So how do you know he's a Mossad?
He gives off those vibes.
Oh, that's got me convinced. Hell. Yeah. So here I just want to show you Boltonator. Real quick. This is I put in my search criteria.
It is not Luke. I'm your father, by the way.
It was.
No, it wasn't Luke. I'm your father.
Real quick, I wanted to ask Jay something from Sacramento. Curious about this Mossad thing. You're serious, right?
I am.
Yeah. Okay. So, you said it was just a vibe. What is that vibe?
Correct.
Like? And what's that vibe like? I mean, what is it that indicates?
Search your feelings.
How would I phrase it? Staveley, Brian Staveley, him, along with many other YouTubers, give off, that vibe that you would correlate that with. You know what I'm saying? How would I explain it?
Is it singing Ave Nagila, or I mean, is it?
No, not at all.
It's like
you can look into the eyes.
Exactly. Staveley,
Zuckerman,
for example, we'll throw in Zachary K. Hubbard, are one of the many YouTubers that give off that vibe, that shield vibe, pushing that narrative, or that psyop planted stuff to the community.
Well, what's psyop? What psyop?
Mandela effect.
You think that's a psyop?
Totally.
Why do you think that's a psyop when there's several hundreds and hundreds of people that are having the same memory with the same thing worldwide?
Where can you find that biblically?
What do you mean, where do I find it biblically? You find it in Amos, it's in Daniel, and it's in Revelation.
Can you read those?
Until they change it.
Can I read them?
I can. I've got them all bookmarked in my Bible.
I can point you out to them.
Oh shit, I'm
look them up yourself.
But in the Ten Commandments in Exodus, it always said that you worship me because I am a jealous God. It always said that in Exodus 20. Since I've been alive and reading the Bible, that is.
You'll want to check out Daniel 7, verse 25. Write these down. What
am I doing?
You're looking for Daniel chapter 7, verse 35. Is a reference.
You would have to know the original. I mean, to be able to reference it.
These aren't changes, Judas. These aren't changes. These aren't changes. He asked me where in the Bible did it say this stuff was going to happen, and I'm pointing it out to him. Also, check out Amos 8.
Daniel
Verse,
7 what?
oh my God, write it down.
25.
25.
And also Amos 8:11.
Oh, Jehovah already got it down.
She's already got it in there? Yep.
Okay, well then I'll look that up real quick then. Let me see real quick right
in
here.
the New
I got it pulled up.
Hey,
He
can I
shall
just say
speak.
in the
something
New
before I go?
Testament.
I just want to say something really quick before I go, Dave.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people said a lot of things about you. There's a lot of people that have said a lot of things about me, other people on YouTube, right? That you give off a vibe or something, right? I've
Correct.
heard things said about you that you give off a vibe of this and that because that person particularly felt that way because he got that vibe from you or whatever. But then I know you personally, and I can honestly say that that's not true. So you got to have receipts, you know, when you say things like this, because if not, you're spreading negativity, man. It could be, you know, you could get other people to fall into your ideal, your, you know, what you see, and then all of a sudden they're going to see it too because you told them to look for it, right? Seek and you shall find type of thing. Just saying.
I would say,
but I got to get off here, guys. I got to hit the sack. We got early day tomorrow.
Good night.
Peace out.
All right, God bless all you guys. Peace.
So it also in Revelation said that we're not
shit about you is
let no man change, but it also said that it's to not to stop Satan from doing it, from changing. It says no man is to change the words of the law and the words of these prophecies, but it also states that we're not supposed to stop. You stop men from doing it if they try. And if they do, 7 times the plagues of this prophecy will fall onto them and then will be taken out of the book of life. It's like a curse. But we're also, it says that we're supposed to not try to stop Satan from doing it because God allows Satan to do that in the final days. My people, it says, I will send a famine into the land, not a famine of thirst or food, but of hearing the words of the Lord. Men will travel from north to east looking for the word of the Lord and shall not find it. And we're seeing that happen because there's a lot of shit that's changing in here. Now, it's not just this. It's statistically impossible. And what would be the end result? What would be the end result? The coup de grace, the reward of such a psyop, Jay?
I didn't hear half of that. I cut out. I was sending my friend the stream link.
Okay.
But like, how would I explain it? The Mandela effect, along with many other off-the-wall theories that entered, you know, the truth community.
Wait. Hold on.
It's not a theory.
You're starting with a false premise. You're saying that this is a theory, and we have absolute fucking evidence that this shit has changed.
Well, I mean, a lot of people can claim a lot of things. You know what I'm saying?
No, we're not claiming nothing. We have actual fucking printed goddamn shit that shows that, look, this is how it was, and this is now how it is.
Right.
Okay. That's the thing that we've got. So it's not a crackpot theory, or there wouldn't be so many people. You think this just came about because word of mouth and people said, "Oh, I think I'll believe this," or do you think it's like, "Hey, I remember that being fucked up too. I thought it was just me."
Brother Sovereign.
I
think you should let Jay talk about his side of what he's talking about.
Sure. I'm just saying, but before you go on and say it's a crackpot theory, you know, that's going right off the bat with a false premise.
Let him express it, and then we will do a great debate. He might have another side, and we might learn something. We might not. Who knows?
All right, Jay, go on. It's you.
All right, howdy. How's it going? By the way, my name is 2LiterJay, or you call me Jay. I'm from the Sacramento Truth Movement. I'm not sure if you're familiar with who I am or what I do, but, you know, I join streams from time to time. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Hebrew youth. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, my own channels. You know, if you want to check me out, you can. Shout out A Call for an Uprising. I'm his nephew, if you did not know that. But, yeah, no, Mandela effect. along with many other, you know, you didn't like the word theories, but we'll topics. I'll say topics. The Mandela effect.
You do your expression, and we'll all talk about it.
Okay. The Mandela effect, like many other truther topics, are planted operations set in by the government to diminish the mindset of the community, to make us all look like what you said, crackpot theorists. You know, it's a tool to control. It's to dumb down, or not necessarily dumb down, to give off that kind of presence that like we're loony. You know what I'm saying? Schizophrenic to the non-truther community, the masses in society. This is one of those operations, psyops, set in by the government, and there are people that push this narrative, whether if they're planted or shills themselves. You know, that is up for debate. But one thing I can conclude is that Brian Staveley definitely pushes that narrative, just like the whole like Zach K. Hubbard's gematria wins and stuff like that. Out for that money gang, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of truthers out there, like Richie from Boston and his Bigfoot theories. I mean, there's a lot of off the wall shit that people are pushing, and that's all about them. You know what I'm saying? But I don't really have a presentation to say. I didn't come in here to debate
that's fine. That's
Mandela
fine.
effect, so I'm unequipped with stuff. So that's all I have to say. It's just a statement.
Right. All right. Well, I'd like to address a few points you made on that. Okay. First of all, what you'll find in true truther communities is that we tend to be a group of people who could give two shits what someone else thinks, if we're fucking crazy or not.
Yeah, that's fine.
Care. We don't care.
Neither
And so
do
we're
I.
not driven by public opinion. Non-truthers and NPCs are driven by public opinion and their perception. Okay. Their earthly character is their whole fucking life, or so they think. All right. So that doesn't really work. It doesn't really work.
Can I say something to that when you're done?
Yeah, you can. Secondly, for a psyop to actually work, it has to actually have an end result, which if that were the intended purpose, it isn't happening, because there's more and more people are realizing this, along with other things, that's not adding up.
That's the mission in itself.
Right. What do you mean? What's the mission in itself?
The mission is to spread the psyop. The mission is to
then
make
How
Mandela provable.
do you explain?
Spreads like a virus.
What you mean? These changes actually happening are the fault of the people saying that they're happening?
No, I'm just referring to the concept of Mandela effect in itself.
Well, what's the cause? What do you think the cause of it is?
A narrative.
A narrative? So you actually think that there's just a lot of people that, against statistical probability or even possibility, are all misremembering the same thing worldwide? For instance, the monocle with the Monopoly guy, right? Supposedly he never had the monocle. And the detractors try to say, oh, you're just getting him mixed up with Mr. Peanut. Well, there's a problem with that. People in other parts of the world who remember him having the monocle don't even know who the hell Mr. Peanut is. That's an American thing.
Okay.
For instance, the thing about the lion and the lamb in Isaiah 11:6, where it says that the lion shall lie with the lamb, now says that the wolf shall dwell with the lamb. And they've also added a leopard in there for some reason.
I do also believe that.
Hold on,
programming.
Let me get to the point to the point I was making on that. Now, if it had never been the lion and the lamb, why would we have so many stained glass windows depicting that? So many works of art, hundreds upon hundreds of ministries around the world naming themselves Lion and Lamb Ministries, Lion and Lamb Christian Youth, all these different things. Why wouldn't it just be a bunch of stained glass windows of a wolf and a lamb and that type of thing, and wolf and lamb ministries and shit like that? We don't have that. Okay. And people that know this and have had this scripture in their heart for their whole life, they go back and they look at 11:6 in their family Bible that they've had their whole life. They've looked at Isaiah 11:6 probably 100 times through their religious upbringing, and now it's suddenly changed. Did someone sneak in their house? Did Brian Staveley or the Mossad sneak in their house and change their fucking copy of Star Wars and change their copy of Legally Blonde and change my friend's copy of the portrait of Dorian Gray so that it now says the picture of Dorian Gray? Is that what's going on?
I
Come
don't know,
on,
man.
There
I'm
is
not sure.
something happening.
But let's just say if that is actually happening,
It is
what is the
happening.
cause of that? Why is this
Okay,
happening?
there again,
What
that's
is bringing this in?
Great question. Great question.
I think it's a spiritual warfare kind of thing myself.
It's
I'm
supernatural.
gonna have to go back into Star Wars and say it's the
And
Mandalorian
somebody
effect.
in your chat says
This is
Vase
the
Snitch.
way.
She says he explains the globe like this, gravity. No, I'm actually a flat earther. I don't believe in the globe.
So
See, you're
no,
halfway there.
You're halfway there.
And
Listen.
somebody asked how old I am.
Well,
I'm 23.
So there,
Do you believe or do you not believe that that supernatural events that mortal men could not be capable of happen?
Correct, if they align
Okay.
biblically.
Well, it does.
But the spiritual realm goes both ways. There's good and
It
evil.
does line up biblically. It does. It tells us that we're not allowed to try to stop Satan from doing this. Okay. And that God is going to give Satan the authority to do this. And what's really interesting is because things to do with God have changed in the Bible. For instance, in Exodus, it now says that thou shalt have no other gods, for God's name is jealous, and he is a jealous God. What? His name is jealous, and he's a jealous God? All right. So
But in Exodus
what's the
20
Greek?
said
what's-
that they were jealous, but then
what-
later on, you're right, they changed that other verse.
What's the Greek? What's the Greek for God? It's logos, right? And what else do we see changing? Logos of companies. Logos. It's sort of like it just went across the board. So
Right.
we've got brand names that have changed. The VW and this German connection. This is what the thing is, Jay. It's almost like there's a puzzle embedded in this shit because there's common themes.
Yeah.
There's common themes, things turning to black that weren't black before. The missing T's, the German connection. There's a Tom Hanks connection. And it's really crazy because it comes back around full circle with all of it. And then I'm talking about stuff that people know for a fact was not that way. Like one of my wife's favorite movies is Legally Blonde. She thinks that's so funny because Reese Witherspoon is like almost a real life Barbie doll. Everything she owns is pink in this movie, right? Even her convertible. Now the car has changed to black. And it's like, no, that girl would have never, it just doesn't, it's wrong. And here's the weird thing now, because even though it's changed on people's copies and everything, you can watch that movie, and in the scene, she pulls up the car's black. She gets out and goes in a store, and in that scene, she's talking to a person in the store, and there's a mirror behind that other person reflecting back toward the door. And if you look in that reflection, you can see her car parked up front, and it's pink in the reflection. That's what I'm saying. There's little residue. The Thinker statue by Rodin, right? Used to be like this. Now, here's the cool residue about that, because now he's like this, and it's changed a couple more times now with the position of his hand. But now it's like this, and here's what's crazy is people go to see the famous Rodin statue of the Thinker. Hey, honey, kids, get over there and pose like the statue, and we'll take a picture, right? And so you've got hundreds of people have taken pictures of their friends posing in front of the statue, and they're posing like this, but the statue's like this now in the picture. This is like, so it's crazy supernatural shit, historical events being added into our timeline.
So there's multiple timelines, is what you're saying?
No, I'm
sorry,
saying
but I
our
must
reality is fluid. Our reality is malleable, and that something is changing our reality.
Thank you for having me. I'm going to have
Jay,
to head
don't-
out for the evening.
See you later, Golden Nader. Thanks for coming on, man.
Don't you feel like you're gaslighting a bit, brother? Jay from Sacramento?
Not really, no. There's nothing to gaslight.
Here,
Because
let me really quick.
Earlier you said, you started saying, well, what's causing it? Let's say it is happening. But earlier you already told us you believe it's a narrative.
Right. But no, I'm asking a
why
question.
Even ask the question? You already know it's a narrative.
Theorized. I'm getting familiar with the ideals that are on this, the mindset of, the panel and the panel host.
Right. Well, you got to
familiarize
whose narrative is it? Is it mine? And
I don't know.
Believe like Dave. What's our goal here?
I don't know.
That's the world, or enslave
the
children, or what?
Don't know.
Well, see,
there's some real devious people for you to gaslight all day.
A lot younger than us and don't have the memories or the experience we have. So he's coming from a completely different point of view at this point. So we need to take.
He said it's a narrative. He's got his mindset.
Correct.
Skeptical.
Let me ask Jay a question. Let me just ask Jay a question. How much actual research into the Mandela effect have you done?
None.
Okay. You do realize that condemnation without investigation is the epitome of ignorance, right?
I've never heard that before, but I'm gonna say yes.
Okay, that is an unequivocal truth. That investigation without condemnation without investigation is the epitome of ignorance. This is what a lot of globe earthers do. They come in without a single idea of what the flat earth model is, nothing, and then want to argue about it. And it's like, how much have you even looked into the other side of what you're arguing about? And it's like, well, if you don't, then you really can't make any argument about it, because I guarantee these changes have affected you in some way too. They have happened to you. And you
how did you come to the conclusion that you've come to?
What, Flo?
What up? I was asking Jay how he came to his conclusion.
I mean, it's pretty simple, man. I mean, there's not much to grasp on the reality of the Mandela effect.
There's not.
So that really wasn't an answer.
Well, I mean, how else would I phrase that for you?
Well, how did you come to the
He doesn't personally
conclusion?
observe any of them.
This is what I want to understand. How did
have I observed the Mandela effect? No, I haven't. Am I familiar with it in some degree? Yes. Have I watched Brian Staveley? Correct.
Okay, so what was how did you reach the conclusions? And I'm going to.
Were there any steps in your thought process, or was it just like white noise and then wrong?
Boom. Government psyop.
Because I mean, I'm sort of on the fence, like, about the whole thing. I'm not necessarily against your conclusion, but I don't know. It doesn't sound like there was any method of getting there.
No, I decided this all of a sudden.
Well, I mean, there's not really much to get out of it. The whole idea of the Mandela effect in itself, there's not much to derive from that. It doesn't accomplish anything. It's just from what people would perceive it to be. It's just coming to the realization that shit's changing.
But if it were true, don't you think that would be a significant event in your paradigm?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out necessarily what it is and what's causing it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if you want to know what the relevance ought to be,
Who's doing it? Is it the government?
2 Thessalonians 2:8 says, "And then shall that wicked one be revealed." That wicked one is doing it. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause God shall send them the strong delusion, that they shall believe a lie. So it's God allowing people to believe what in the end times will be Satan's lying signs and wonders.
Right. Yeah. No. Can I add something to that though? I don't mean to cut anybody off, but can I get a moment to bring an idea into that?
Sure.
Okay. I don't necessarily believe that the devil does stuff on his own necessarily. I believe actually the devil is a woman. I refer to it as pseudo-religious. I can't necessarily prove that, but that's just my own take on it. You can leave that as is. But as he, her, if you want to refer to it as that, from my interpretation, I don't think the devil as a character and an entity does stuff on its own. Necessarily, it's more of a direction from the God. Isaiah 45:7 says, I create peace, I create evil, I do this, I the Lord do all things. So necessarily I would say it's the God doing it, or God doing it, and not giving credit to another entity. More or less
Well, wait a second.
they're doing something
We
that he
are.
wants them to do.
I look. Here's it says it. What part of that you didn't understand? That he will be given the authority to wear out the saints to speak great blasphemies. Where did you miss that part? It said
Given
that
authority.
God allows Satan to do this. He allows him to do it. Why? Because this is it. That's why. Okay, so the thing is you have to have a little bit more for, it's a government psyop. Wait a second. Or what does it matter that things are changing? Are you shitting me? The fact that your reality is actually fluid and is being supernaturally changed, that doesn't intrigue you at all?
Not really,
Come
no.
on, bro. Come
I'm
on.
just being honest. I don't see no
What if that's
logic within the
reality?
Mandela effect.
What do you mean no logic to it? That's precisely what
other than off-branded references to movies, I don't really see any relevance in the Mandela effect.
Exactly perfectly the same relevance as flat Earth, which is that your whole paradigm is completely different than you think it was.
Yeah.
Right. It's the fact that we're being deceived, and now we're seeing where and how we've been being deceived.
Well, I mean, I would say people are being deceived, but in another limelight to what people are thinking, what people think they're being deceived by. I think it's the government deceiving people into thinking certain things are going on. The American government,
the government, Jay?
The elite establishment.
The elite establishment, just the United States, or how's that working?
UN, globalist ideals. I can get into individual groups, but necessarily it's all the same thing.
UN's a good one. UN's a good one. You know that there again, going back to the Bible, about the 22 watchers.
Correct.
Right.
Book of Enoch.
They fell onto Mount Hermon. They gathered on Mount Hermon, right? Okay.
Correct.
Did you know that today there is a UN disengagement observer force stationed on Mount Hermon?
I've heard of that.
Isn't that crazy? Observer, watcher. I don't know what's in the name, right? But the thing is, what I'm trying to get at is what would be the advantage to this? I mean, if people are realizing that, okay, we're seeing signs and wonders, we're seeing signs in the heavens and the earth for those with eyes to see and ears to hear. All these things are coming together, and this is another piece of that. Another piece of this. I'm sorry that you don't see it as significant. There are a whole lot of people that do, but for it to be a psyop of some kind or a distraction, what you're going to end up finding is that, like on a channel like mine, we talk about all of these things, not just one. Okay, we're talking about the flat earth here. We talk about all of the deceptions that are placed upon you by said elite, who I believe are controlled from a higher source.
Nice.
Okay. There's I even tie that right into what I think the control system is actually in what we call Antarctica. But the thing is, this is to throw an aspersion that someone is a Mossad agent with no more evidence to it than other than it's just, I feel it. I mean,
correct. It's an assumption that I've developed.
Assumptions aren't developed.
Wait, who's in Mossad? Dave, are you in Mossad now?
I guess. Huh. But I mean, that's really kind of a wild dart in the dark assumption. Really, why Mossad? Why not CIA?
I don't know. He has that aura about him, that Kabbalistic aura about him.
The Shekels aura.
Yeah, there we go.
What is
There
he?
you go.
What have you seen him do or say that would indicate that? So that like the rest of it.
He has that mystical vibe about him. That real elf on a shelf type vibe. You know what I'm
The
saying?
artificial space scenery.
God agent. I don't know. What do you feel like? I mean, that's what I'm trying to get at.
He's saying he has a certain energy that's putting him off from what his
correct.
motive
Well, then
is.
say that. It doesn't mean he's with fucking Mossad or some shit. That's quite a reach, man.
Who are we even talking about? Who's with Mossad?
Brian Staveley.
Okay. I thought we were talking about you, Dave.
No.
Everyone comes to the table at a different point with different experiences, and not everybody is having the same experience at the same exact time.
I'm having. I'm an agent from.
You're from the space station high.
I'm from the Lux.
You don't exist, so
I'm Luxembourg intelligence. Okay,
You're from NAMBLA.
I'm the whole fucking department too.
He's from Mars, and you don't count.
I mean, I'd be a skeptic too if I hadn't witnessed like dozens and dozens of different things change over the course of my lifetime.
Right.
I still am a skeptic,
When
but
you're
I find that
you're not as into certain things, but a lot of the younger people are starting to see things, but from a different point of view, even though they're not necessarily up with us, because we've had those experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Things.
For instance, we have anchor memories, Jay. They're anchor memories.
So are we agreeing that Jay's a whippersnapper?
Okay, so for instance, an anchor memory.
Jay's only early 20s.
So, for instance, Jay, an anchor memory is like this. When I was a kid, my mother, I remember she was folding clothes, folding laundry, and I decided to help her. And I picked up the underwear, and I remember looking at the tag on it, the Fruit of the Loom tag. And I remember asking about that weird looking basket. You know, and my mother said that's called a cornucopia, David. And I was like, oh, that's a cool word. And she goes, it's also known, you know, as a horn of plenty and shit. But I thought cornucopia, that's such a cool word, man. And so I started telling my friends what a cornucopia.
Were you already smoking pot back then?
And I said, no, I didn't start till I was 12. Okay. So, so I'm like, you know, telling all my friends, you know, that's called a cornucopia and shit. And I was like, oh, you know, that's cool. And I remember that vividly. Okay. And now it's that cornucopia has never been there, never in their logo before at all. I know for a fucking fact it is, because that's how I learned the word cornucopia. I mean, it's shit like that you know for a fact. A buddy of mine, he's a Volkswagen fanatic. Lives in a ghost town.
Can I say something real quick when you're done with that? I don't mean to cut you off.
So yeah, real quick though, he's a Volkswagen fanatic. I told him about the change on the symbol of the Volkswagen. He says, no fucking way. We went out, looked at his 69 microbus, and sure as fuck, the logo had changed on it. But his keychain didn't. It's like, what happened? Did somebody roll up into this ghost town in the middle of fucking Death Valley?
It was a ghost that did it.
Yeah, replaced
Brian Staveley
caps with altered replicas, you know, without him knowing. For why? What would be the point?
You can't go anywhere without Brian Staveley wanting to put his nose into everything.
Okay.
Isn't that the truth?
But can I answer a question from your chat real quick?
Yeah, who was asking?
Okay, so I'm not necessarily sure who this is. Let me get the name real quick. Rock E. Shepard. He says, ask him, does he cut his sideburns? He says something about was the information agent. He said he was Hebrew. Yeah, no, Hebrew youth, not necessarily but I said now somewhere one. You know, necessarily that word can be defined by many references. Christians necessarily can be considered Hebrew. More aligned, more in depth.
What is Hebrew?
Kind of
messianic.
Yeah, you could say that. I do have friends that are Hebrew Israelites, so I kind of stem a little bit from that, but necessarily on my own thing. I don't necessarily share most of the ideals, but loosely associated with. So I just throwing that out there. I'm not what they're throwing in the
So you
chat
don't
because
completely
that's the only.
disavow all of Jesus's teachings, which is what they do.
Not at all, no.
So it's a religion,
Okay,
not a
good.
race or a gang or
Well,
a
you can
nationality.
listen from different people. It doesn't matter what they believe in.
But no, I'm just saying in the chat because when people think of Hebrew, they think of certain people like that. They're some people are how would you say ignorant.
Is it like trying to emphasize keeping the commandments more, that sort of thing?
Correct.
Okay.
Christ taught his people to follow their commandments. But no, I actually shave my sideburns. I don't look too good with long sideburns. I shave the side of my head. I have my own take on that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I took that from Now You See TV. Now you see TV.
Too, man.
Shout out John Hall if anybody knows John Hall. That's my brother.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying too, man. It's like because I started to put it, and he goes, "Oh, you forgot the E," and I was like, "What the fuck? You got Mandela too, bro." But that was funny because here's another one too. One of my biggest detractors, which I think he's got a man crush on me, but Sean Hawkins, he was in a chat of a stream the other day, and one of the things one of the Mandela effects is the changing of the logo for Looney Tunes cartoons, right? It now is TUNES, like music. And it was always TOONS.
What?
Like cartoons.
God damn it.
Yeah. Okay, so he was.
Oh, I got another question in the chat, but sorry, man. Sorry.
He went to give some shit. He went to give shit about it in the chat, and he says, "Oh, they've always had these different stuff, merry melodies," and he wrote Looney Tunes, TOONS. And I was like, I know that's how it was supposed to be, but it's not like that anymore. It's Looney Tunes, TUNES.
I mean, that doesn't even make
this
fucking
is pertaining to the Mandela effect.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So now here's the thing. One of the residues to that was the one where they have Bugs Bunny as a kid. They're all small, Tiny Tunes, right? Which is spelled TOONS. And Brian informed me earlier that that's now changed to where it's just Tiny Toon. There's no S on it anymore. And it's like, what the fuck? So cartoons, and even like Roger Rabbit, where did he live? He lived in Toontown, TOON town, right? Because they're cartoons. A short form of the word cartoon is tunes. And now it's Looney Tunes with the music word, TUNES. And it's like, that doesn't even make any sense. It's not a show about music, it's cartoons.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The other one, I think I remember Tiny Toon Adventures.
I will watch that.
Yeah, so that's TOON. What happened? Why not TUNE? See, this is some weird shit, man. And that's what I'm saying. And there's specific like connections to these changes that are occurring, like a daisy chain or some shit. Like one of the scriptures. Okay, so you're familiar with scripture, I'm sure, Jay. I want you to fill in the blank.
I don't have a photographic memory, but I am familiar with stuff.
This is one they always use. I'm sure you've heard this one. Where two or blank gather in my name, I will be in their midst.
I've heard that before.
Okay, well, what's the blank?
What I don't know the verse though off the
where
back.
Two or more gather in my name, I will be in their midst. But that has changed now, and it changed when they started allowing limited gatherings to church. It now says where two or three gather in my name. And it's like, oh, yeah, but no more than three? What? It was always where two or more gather in my name. Now Moses doesn't care. What did Moses bring down from the mountain when he went up there? What did he bring down? Jay?
Oh, sorry. Hold on. I'm not sure. You're gonna have to refresh me real quick.
I thought you said you were in the. This is Old Testament shit, man. It's like in the
correct.
Okay, and you're in this movement, but you seem to be woefully uneducated on the Bible. So Moses went up on the mountain. He talked to God. And what did he come back down with? He was carrying something. And it was right before he found these people.
You talking about his rod?
No, I'm talking about a stone tablet.
Oh, I'm stupid.
Right? Stone tablets.
Okay, yeah, right.
Commandments on it and shit, right? Okay.
Right, yeah.
They're not tablets anymore. Now they're stone tables. Go look. Yeah, they changed. The T is gone now. They're stone tables.
Let me look real quick.
Yeah. Exodus, hang on a second.
Beer pong tables. You got to win on one side and then shift to the other side.
When I Google it though, it says stone tablets.
You're not talking about Google. Fuck Google. You're in the truth movement and you use Google. Are you shitting me? Come on, bro.
What are you talking about?
What do you mean? What am I talking about? Google's a piece of shit.
What am I supposed to use?
You're not going to get anything out of Google. Okay, so
what do you use?
What do I use? I use Yandex.
I'm not even sure what that is.
Yeah, try it sometime. You'll get.
I use Google and I made awesome monkey bread today. I just want you to know that it turned out spectacular.
Don't you have a paper and ink Bible?
Do I? Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay. So, do you have it? Grab it. Yeah, you go. This is the thing. You can change anything online. I'm talking about paper and ink, hard copy shit that's changing, that hasn't left my house.
Whippersnappers, am I right?
I snuck in there and did it when you're sleeping.
You must have.
I'm just kidding with you.
Yeah, Google's a crap. Google it lies to you too, man. If you go in there and just do a search,
for sure, man.
Just do a search for anything. I don't care what it is, and it'll tell you got you like 40 billion fucking results in 0.2 of a second or some shit like that, right? Yeah, see how many results you actually really get.
So, what did you want me to bring up? Exodus 31, you said?
Exodus 34, verse 29.
I did a video a little while back where I compared search results from DuckDuckGo and Google.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty staggering.
Yeah, Yandex is even better. Now, here's the thing. You can go on Google to bypass their little filtering algorithm. If you put your search criteria in quotation marks, it'll drop from giving you all the ads and other shit. At least it used to. But I don't use Google. Google is gay.
Can I share a sentiment, Dave, about something I've been picking up on lately?
Oh, yeah, it says right here, 2 tables of stone.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. So go back just a little bit more and look at 34:14. 34 verse 14. I'm going to tell you God's name there. Exodus 34:14.
Give me 1 second.
It's on the same page in my Bible anyway.
Well, no, I flipped the pages. I was looking at something else real quick.
And then I'm going to let John Thomas give his piece here. Did you find it? 34:14. Yeah. Go ahead and read that.
For thou shalt worship no other God, for the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God.
Uh-huh. Is God's name jealous? Of course not. How'd that get in there?
Well, in Exodus and the Ten Commandments, it said it was a jealous. Said
He always said he was a
jealous
God.
A jealous God. It didn't say his name was jealous and he is a jealous God, did it?
No, not that I can recall.
Well,
but I do know it said it in Exodus 20.
If you want one to look up, I look up Isaiah 4 verse 1, Jay. That changed while I was in Jerusalem in 2014. And there's residue in X-Files.
So what is it, Isaiah what?
The Field Where I Died. Look up X-Files, The Field Where I Died. You'll see the man has 6 wives.
What is the verse?
What is it again, the verse?
Isaiah 4 verse 1.
Let me look at this. Isaiah 7.
And go to X-Files. Watch that episode. You'll see 6 women get arrested. There's 6 mug shots. Scully will tell you she has 6 wives to interview. They quote Isaiah 4 verse 1, and now it says 7. You're going to tell me that the producers and the editors and everybody said, oh, this guy needs 7 wives. The verse we're making this whole episode off of says 7 women.
Isaiah verse 4, 1?
Chapter
4, verse 1.
Gotcha. And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach.
And that changed on me, brother. In 2014, I was celebrating the Feast of Tabernacles in Jerusalem in the New Swedish Hostel. I've got proof of it. I've got witnesses. I looked up that verse for a guy in the hostel because I always quoted that verse. I told him 6 women. He said, I ain't never read that. And I said, let me get my Bible because I knew my Bible. And I pulled it out 7. I just now looked at it. It said 6. And then I walked over to show him 7. And people don't believe me. They say, you're the biggest fibber. I'm telling you, that happened. And go look up X-Files. The season, I don't remember what season, but I think it's season 2.
You want to see?
I later found that. Jay? I didn't even know it was in X-Files.
Jay, you want to see one that's really funny? I can show you. Let me see. Go to Jeremiah chapter 24, verse 2.
And here's the deal that I get the sentiment. This is what I was wanting to say, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
The sentiment that I get out of the truth movement that really bothers me and people that believe this is happening is kind of like we're kind of being told that you people are messing it up. You're muddying it up. You're murkying the waters. We're over here about truth. And there are usually a lot of come latelys. No offense, Jay from Sacramento. You know what I mean? But I was looking at.
I'm not sure if I comprehend
2000. Well, the sentiment I pick up is like, if you believe in this, we've got a bunch of crazies in the truth movement that kind of need to move on.
That's how I feel about the Mandela effect and people who believe Project Bluebeam. But then again, it all depends on religious ideals. Most of those.
You're 24.
Have you not?
You're 24, and I was following Flat Earth since 08. You're 24, and I was following Flat Earth.
I'm 23.
Holding up the banner. I know people well inside the group, legends, Math Powerland, all of them.
All shills.
It doesn't matter. All stuff that you
David Wise, Jeranism.
All stuff that you
no real truther gets a Netflix documentary.
So what component of truth do you abide by?
And then it's time for us to move on.
Have you realized?
And it's kind of like, hello.
Hold on, let me say something,
that's
Jay.
backwards.
Let me say something,
in
Jay.
my mind.
Let me say something, John.
We had discernment in the beginning, back before anybody was even thinking about it.
Okay, so Jay, check this out. Have you realized that there is a spiritual war taking place right
Correct.
now? Okay. And you are familiar with as above, so below, correct?
Correct. Duality, yes.
All right. So, as you have been perusing through a book filled with supernatural events are occurring. But because for some reason these things only happened in those times and can't happen now. You understand?
That's not right. There's a lot of stuff that's supernatural happening today.
That's what we're saying. So how does this not, as I've pointed out, that is as prophesized, how does this not correlate to truth and that spiritual battle that we're in here in the below as the same as above? It's right there with it, man. It's part of it because it's another level of deception that is being placed upon us by the shaitan, man. Okay? The globe is a lie perpetrated by the shaitan. Okay? These things have already been prophesized that this was going to happen. Okay? It says that there are going to be signs in the heavens and the earth for those with eyes to see and ears to hear. Now, given that it was prophesied that God was going to give Satan the ability or power, authority to do these things and to speak blasphemies against the saints and against the Most High, which is exactly what we're seeing happening in these scriptures. Okay, that's a book. Okay, the word of God is sealed in heaven
from the chairs, as they called it.
So it has to be written on your heart. And this is it right now. People are going to go and see that shit's happening. They're going to panic and go, "Oh, I better go and look for the word of the Lord because I'm seeing this shit's really real," right? And now they're not going to be able to find it because it says a bunch of shit in there that never was before. For instance, Luke 19:27. Jesus is telling his disciples to bring his enemies before him and slay them. Now, when do you ever hear about Jesus telling anybody to kill any fucking body? Never.
Never.
But now it's in scripture. And so those that are not familiar with it and those that have not sought counsel of those that are familiar with it are going to pick up that book, and it's not going to be there what they're supposed to find.
Wait. Phrase that again real quick. Can you say that one more time, please?
Is which part? I'm not going to say the entire.
You mentioned the part about Jesus real quick.
Yeah, I said in 1927, Luke, chapter 19, verse 27. Jesus says to bring his enemies before him and slay them.
Luke what?
1927.
1927. All right.
Jay, you're saying Math Powerland is a shill. I came.
Well, no. I'm referring to
Bowden, brother.
I'm referring to logistically. A lot of flat Earth people may have. I necessarily don't know too much about Matt Powerland, so I won't make any statement. But I was referring to a lot of them are him. I don't really know too much about.
Okay. So, but can I tell you something that might interest you? In 2018, I told him about the Mandela effect. He agreed with you. It's all it's all online. So if he's a shill, what's he pushing?
I don't really know. I don't know too much about.
He's pushing Mandela effect, didn't he?
So
here's
Good Lord, why the attacking sound, tone in your voice and all that?
You're saying he's a shield.
You're coming.
I know David Weiss and Jeranism are. Other than that, that's really.
How do you know that? What evidence do you have? That's the thing. It can't just be a feeling. I feel like you're I feel like you're Hold on.
Well, I mean, that's fine.
What if the vibe I get from you is a disingenuous one because you come on here and told me.
Well, I mean, your chat thinks I'm a troll, so you know.
Well, I'm not paying attention to my chat. I'm just saying. So if I had this vibe that, you say you're related to this other guy, that call for an uprising.
Shout out a call for an uprising.
Yeah, great channel. He's covered this as well. So, do you guys at odds with that?
I mean, not everybody believes in the same thing.
Well, still, nevertheless. So, is he a shill? Is your uncle a shill? Well, then
not at all.
So, what do you think? People just don't have the ability to think for themselves, and they just glom.
I've never said that.
Well, then how would
there's a lot of people that believe in the Mandela effect. There's a lot of people that believe in Blue Beam. Necessarily, I don't believe in any of those.
Well, that doesn't mean that it's not true, right? I can.
That may be the case. I just don't believe in it.
What if? Oh, I don't believe the sky's blue in the daytime. I really don't. I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. Does that make it so? No,
not at all.
Not at all.
Do you not believe what you're hearing because you haven't witnessed it yourself personally?
That could be the case. That might be it.
So am I a shill?
I don't know. I barely even know who you are.
Well, let's take a look. Okay?
But you mentioned David Weiss. How is he a shill? No real truther would get a documentary on an elite RAN network known as Netflix.
David Weiss didn't get that. Jeranism did.
Well, same shit.
Yeah, no.
They're both buddies.
Okay, well, see, I think you have a predisposed dislike for these people and now want to find a way to slander them. That's what I think.
If Russian Vid says they're a shill, they're definitely a shill.
Secondly, the highly edited Netflix show that they put out It wasn't them. Netflix put it out. It was highly edited, and they cut out a bunch of shit that actually showed that the Earth was level. The Netflix documentary was cut and edited to make it show that they had failed to prove it. Okay, so it wasn't to anyone's advantage, and especially theirs, because a lot of globe trolls like to point out that movie from Netflix. Okay, so that wouldn't have been a good move at all for them. Secondly, the whole idea of this idea of well, I just don't like this guy, or I feel this, or I haven't looked into it, is really, dude, I know you're young. I know, I can tell. And
Got your head twisted, brother. That's all it is. I forgive you too.
I'm going to give you just some advice, bro.
But you said Luke 19.
It doesn't matter who's a shill right now. You need to get ready for what's happening. Things are changing.
Yeah.
We're
So
all in the same.
I just want to leave you with this idea on it, Jay. Is my channel is not monetized. My channel is not monetized.
Neither's mine.
I don't receive a dime for what I'm doing, unless somebody cash apps me a couple of bucks or something like that. Okay, so I'm not in it for the money. I'm not selling shirts. I'm not selling cups. I'm not selling mugs. I'm not selling anything. Right?
There's nothing wrong with that, though, if somebody does.
Right. So are you somehow then where in error? How am I shilling that? And how
I've never said you're shilling, though.
Well,
you put words in my mouth.
You said
earlier you said it didn't matter to you.
You said that the Mandela effect was hurting the truther community. Now,
correct.
If I'm somebody that
leading people astray.
Leading people astray, how's that possible? My show incorporates all of it. All of it.
That's good.
Even tonight, we talked about stuff.
Everybody's,
flat Earth,
have their own mindset.
The whole 9 years. Well, yeah. So that means part of my show is shilling, and the rest of it's cool. It's like cafeteria.
But when did I say you were shilling, though?
Well, you said that information was a psyop to shill people. How am I shilling people?
Well, I mean, you would be falling for the psyop necessarily. You wouldn't be shilling for it, though.
I've actually had these experiences, yet I'm falling for it because someone else noticed these same things.
Well, I'm willing to listen to what you have to say and watch what you have. I'm not denying. I'm not saying that I won't.
I'm telling you. Did you
Would you pinpoint me to your evidence?
Well, I just showed you. I just showed you a couple of them in the Bible. Now you're about ready to see Luke 19:27, I believe, right?
Right.
Those are Jesus's words. Read them out loud.
But those mine enemies, which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me. See, now this is funny, though, because I've listened to my buddy. His name is Andrew. He has photographic memory. He's real familiar with a lot of this, so necessarily I would refer to him when I have questions relating to something I don't know. And he's read this before, and this is what he's read.
Okay.
So what are you trying to say?
So Jesus is saying to kill people.
That's what it says.
Well, wait a minute. What happened to turn that? You see, you're falling for the psyop, bro.
But what about when Jesus comes back, though? He's going to slay his enemies? Our Revelation, he's coming back with the sword?
Jesus never said he was going to slay anyone.
Right. You're on to something.
He said he was absolutely a pacifist, my man.
What do you think these changes are? What do you think these changes are, Jay? You remembered that there's going to be wrath and there's going to be slaves.
Well, I've always known Jesus as a priest king, a warrior poet.
Right.
Put it like that.
Okay, you feel like you've got.
I'm using linguistic words.
You're using what
priest king, warrior poet.
Yeah, Christ is the high priest, lineage of David. He's a royalty.
Troll, my final answer.
Where did he say he's the high priest, the line of David? Where?
Christ is of the lineage of David.
No, he never said he was the son of David. See, nobody here knows their Bible. He said he is not the son of David. He said, how can he be the son of David? They kept calling him son of David. They kept shouting, Hosanna to the son of David, Hosanna to the son of David, because they want him to be the king that was going to take the throne.
His mother was a virgin that nobody did anything with and magically got pregnant? Come
Turns
on.
out Joseph was the only virgin.
If you start going back in history, you will find out that Jay's right. He's a priest. Yes.
Jesus was given
you're getting
priesthood
that-
by
you're
John the
getting that- you're
Baptist.
getting that
He's
for
the
the
high
book of
priest.
Hebrews.
Yeah,
You are getting that from the book of Hebrews. That's not the gospel. That
Christ.
does come out of Jesus'
Oh, okay.
words.
So you don't follow Paul then?
Came from the Greek.
Absolutely not.
Okay, so
Absolutely not.
that's where the difference draws in at. You need to state that you don't follow Paul because I follow Paul's teaching.
I've said that for years.
Well, I'm not familiar with that because this is my first time up here, so I follow Paul and what he says.
Why?
Necessarily. So you guys
You're
need
worried
to
about
state
shields.
that, though. You know what I'm saying?
You don't smell a rat there. You don't see
Not
a
at
shield?
all. No, not at all.
You don't.
Created to control people. That the government, whenever there was a war and a new king came and just took over that country, like the war between Greece and Rome. Then, in order to keep the people calm,
I'm not really arguing that. I didn't come to debate if Paul's a shield or not.
They
Paul
allowed
said his credentials as
people to
a
keep their.
blameless was because he's a Pharisee. I'm sorry, Dreamy. I'm sorry.
I mean, that's all right. I'm not getting into
We can say that I'm blameless in matters of the law because I'm a Pharisee. He
I'm
can say
looking
that.
here. There's other things in here too. Are you
Scribes and
familiar?
Pharisees were the writers of laws and the law keepers.
No, those were the Levites.
Enforcers.
That was the
Levites.
Sadducees, ma'am. They were the at the time that was the Levites. The Pharisees that want the priesthood. They want to walk around saying the priestly blessings, carry the ephod like David did, impale people's children for their sins that their fathers didn't commit.
Exactly. The scribes and
They want to
Pharisees.
eat the bread that Christ said was illegal for
When you
David.
walk in a courtroom, who's sitting up there?
Here's another one real quick.
Dreamy, your mic is cutting up.
Yeah. Hey Jay, here's another one for you too to look into. Exodus, right? So we know the Passover, what that's about, right? Because one of the things that the Lord did was they had the Hebrews put lamb's blood over top of their door to mark their doors so that when a certain entity came through, it would pass over their homes. What was that entity that came over them?
That was the Spirit of the Lord, or it was an
No.
angel in some texts.
It was the angel of death, but now it's the
Correct.
Lord. Now it's the Lord. Now it's God.
Well, I've heard both, so I necessarily.
it was never both.
It
It was always the
simultaneously
angel of
one in
death.
itself.
That's the point. That's the point. See, these. I'm sorry, Jay, but
Jay, you sound like you know your Bible
you
better
are
than you made on
you
earlier
are
on.
woefully uneducated.
I've
on
never
the
stated
Bible.
that.
You are woefully uneducated on the Bible for these two.
Well, I mean, you guys don't follow Paul, so I can draw the same conclusion.
I was
to
just
that as
talking
well.
about Old Testament. This is Old Testament. You not realize that's Old
Don't
Testament.
listen to
Paul
nothing
Everything is
Solomon
the one
says.
in
Don't
itself.
listen to nothing David says. Don't listen to nothing to Paul.
I don't think this dude's a good faith actor, to be completely honest.
No, I don't either. I'll tell you
Okay.
why. Because he says that he's a messianic.
I've
Hebrew,
never stated that.
Where
You
you're a
admit that.
Hebrew Christian or some other shit like that, but you don't know anything about the Bible at all.
I want to hear what truth components you adhere to. What
Can I ask you something?
Do you
Jay?
want a
You're into
rundown of what I
Paul's
believe in? And I can give that.
Yeah, I mean, you say you're from the truth movement, but you poo-poo everything that since I've been up here. So what is the truth that you believe in? Run through it, some bullet points.
Okay. I believe in the truth of Jesus Christ and his necessarily return into the new kingdom. Necessarily individually, that's a long discussion to get into. I believe this whole alien agenda that's been going on is to bring in and mask the second coming of Christ, to pinpoint it as a quote on alien invasion, if you want to put it like that.
Shout out to Blue Pack.
So you do believe in Blue Beam?
Not at all, no.
So you think these UFOs are real and shit?
Correct. Those are chariots. Those are the angels of the Lord.
Well, they haven't got here yet, so why do you think that?
Think what?
Don't you
keep
think
going.
that you could wait to? Okay, yeah, keep going.
Let's hear more of them. Like chemtrails. Are you down with chemtrails?
I am, yes. Chemtrails that they spray on you in the sky, chemically, that's poisonous. That's a long discussion to get into. Am I well versed with it? Necessarily, somewhat. Barium and aluminum. I know that statement, which is true. What else? 9/11 was to mask the real birth of Jesus Christ, when necessarily he was born during maybe a time between September and October. I'm sure people have already heard that. I believe
that's
necessarily from
definitely
what
the
Rob
most whack
Skiba.
job theory that I've heard tonight.
Oh, I mean, Rob Skiba says it, so I mean, you
I
could
don't
get
know
it
who
from
that
that
is.
as well. Okay, well then
Well,
you need to
all right,
look into
so,
who Rob Skiba is.
I
Jesus was
wanna
actually born on 9/11. Most of these religions nowadays have quote on central worship. They all worship Saturn. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that. And that's a star god, so we can correlate that back to flat Earth. I believe in flat Earth. I believe there's a the dome above us, outer waters type situation. I don't believe in hell. I think hell is actually an event, so I don't believe in eternal fire, as some
So you're
people
mostly
might
just
do.
like a wonky Christian, an eccentric Christian.
If you want to put it like that.
If you're in the Messianic movement, brother, then
I'm not in the Messianic movement.
Well, I thought you said. What'd you
I
say?
am
You said
Hebrew
That was
youth.
my mistake. He's
Hebrew youth. That's the term I'm
Hebrew
on.
youth. So, okay, Hebrew youth. That means you probably got a lot of roots back in the Torah, right? Studying. Do they
Well,
do
no,
that?
because that would Jewish.
No.
I
Paul is
Hebrew
Jewish,
Israelite. If
Hebrew.
anybody's
But
familiar
Paul's
with
Jewish,
that.
too.
Yes,
Correct.
I've heard of them.
Romanized. Oh, okay, so you would understand where necessarily some of my beliefs would derive from with the UFOs. I believe in reincarnation and stuff like that as well.
Man, you're depriving yourself, because if you don't understand what happened back with Moses and the Canaanites, you don't understand history.
So
Nobody
let me get
does.
this straight, Jay. Hold on, let me get this straight. I'm kind of having a problem running this through the logic mill.
Go ahead.
So you don't think that Blue Beam is real?
Not at
or
all.
that they're
No, it's
faking it?
real,
Wait a
but
second,
necessarily what people would claim it to be isn't.
Let me finish, okay?
Sorry.
Let me finish. And whether or not these are actually using real crafts that we've had, or whatever the case may be, so that they're going to try to fake an alien invasion, which they've already begun to do that with this Las Vegas story. You think that those are angels of God instead of these just man-made craft that they're using?
That's a possibility.
All right, wait a second. And then because that's a prophecy, but when it comes to the prophecy about giving the authority to change the times, the laws, and all this shit, no, that's not possible at all.
No, that's possible.
So you said it was a psyop.
But what
though.
people claim Mandela effect to be, necessarily, that would be.
What are they claiming it to be, other than the fact that things that once were one way have gone to another way? How is that? What do you mean?
How would I phrase it differently?
Yeah, I mean, there should be some indication. Now, granted, there are some people out there that have some real dumb.
What people who believe in the Mandela effect and present it to be necessarily isn't what those verses are referring to. That would be my statement.
Like what? You mean actually God's name is jealous? And you mean that Moses really did carry down tables made of stone? And that it was never putting new wine into old skins. It's always been bottles, which would make no sense because it's a parable regarding putting new information, new ideas into old people who have been firmly seasoned into their old beliefs. Well, a bottle would make no sense because the fact that you can put piss or acid or any other goddamn thing in the bottle and it won't break or burst from the contents of it. So it makes no fucking sense, but now it's Bible or it's bottles, right? We've got a woman in the Old Testament opening a bottle of milk. Yeah, Old Testament times, opening a bottle of milk.
Did Jesus
telling people to gather up your couch. Gather up your stuff in your couch. A couch came about in the 1800s. There was no such thing. Why is that in there now? John Baptist instead of John the Baptist? Bringing his head on a charger to the damsel? These aren't words that were there before.
Do you know that Samson's name has changed and his words have changed?
Oh yeah, who cut his hair off anyway, John? Who cut off Samson's hair?
I just, this is what I know for
Delilah
a fact.
wasn't
Yeah,
it?
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Everybody
With
knows that
Delilah.
Delilah cut off Samson's hair that
colluded with
took
the
away his
Philistines.
strength. Right now,
Who's
it's
John?
now it's her servants cut off his hair.
What was Samson's name? Was it Samson or Samson with the P?
With the
No
P.
P. No P.
Well, I know it as
No, his
Samson,
name-
but necessarily I don't know
Samson.
what it would, say in here.
Samson.
But you're referencing a P, so I'm assuming that's what it says.
No, there's no P now. His name had a P.
I don't
Okay,
remember
I'm not
that.
familiar with it with the P.
Okay, well, everybody mark my words.
Yeah.
Samson's name had a P,
Right.
and his words had changed.
Well, it's not just that.
His
John.
words used to be, with the jawbone of an ass, I've slain 1,000
Some of
men.
the changes
With
were
the jaw
changed
of an
because
ass,
this
I've
kid
made
was
asses
even
of men.
born.
That's changed.
Well, it changed on my shelf from Delilah cutting his hair off to her servants cutting his hair off. Because now it's her servants that cut his hair off, not Delilah.
So see how that makes me feel when people don't even know Samson's name had a P, and I grew up knowing
Did
how
it?
to spell Samson
I'm
and
not
knew his
familiar
words
with that.
by heart.
I don't ever remember it with a P though, John.
Well,
I do.
There's one of the rubs. There's one of the
that's one
rubs.
of the biggest evidences out there.
Some of them.
Samson. Google Samson option, and you'll get
Yeah, we
Seymour
know.
Hirsch.
So check it out. This is what we're talking about right here. Even Grant Rogers puts in here the whole brand name of Samsonite is from his name, from Samson being
I don't
strong,
care.
right?
That's
So
part
one
of
of
the
the
rest.
rubs. All right, you have a memory.
Was I still
Great.
explaining my
we're
beliefs,
not
or was that it?
disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing,
Anybody
John,
had
that
any
you
other questions?
remember it.
I'm not hating on you. I'm just saying.
I know. I'm not disagreeing. You don't have to
There's
keep
no way in
repeating
hell
it.
I'll
You
ever
don't have to
accept
keep
Sam's
telling me
stuff.
it had a P in it. I know you remember it had a P in it. I myself don't remember a P in it. Now,
That's
there's
funny.
one of the weird things because some of the things maybe I took a download.
Maybe that's what people are remembering.
You
Is
So see, is it? Do I got a narrative here that I ran
Disillusioned
on Dave just now, or what?
ideas, memories. You know what I'm saying? I don't know,
See,
man.
there's-
I really
there's
don't
no-
know.
There's no
who
agenda
you are.
here, brother. There's
But
no
how do you
agenda.
explain? How do you explain that?
We're fractured inside of the group.
How do you
But the
explain?
residue is not just our memories; it's also physical. Like Brian Staveley had somebody send him
Brian
Haas avocados.
Staveley.
Yes,
You
the
never
Mossad
really
agent
fucking-
himself.
Now wait a
But
second.
he had somebody send him in the Haas avocados bag. It didn't say Haas.
Yeah.
I remember.
It
I'm not even
literally
sure
Hey,
what
I
that
was-
is.
I really want to ask
I'm
you a
too young
question.
for
I want to get down right to
that.
the root
I
of
don't
the
eat
matter.
avocados.
I want to get right down to the root of the matter. Okay. And I pinpointed it. You told on yourself. The moment that Brian Staveley's name was mentioned, you went, Brian Staveley. So apparently Brian Staveley has pissed you off or done you wrong somehow.
Not at all. No, I like
Oh,
trolling
no,
Brian
no, no,
Staveley
you made
every
that
now and then.
evident.
The fighter. Okay. You want my take? I mean, this is a complete joke. Oh, and somebody in the chat wants me to address my Mossad affiliation. Yeah, whatever, pal. Stick it.
Yeah.
Marvin, I'm being joined right now by a New York City firefighter, Morel Gibbs. He's been...
Dude, you came on here with wild ass accusations about fucking Mossad and all that other
Oh, that's
shit.
funny. I have a deja vu moment. I feel like I've recountered this moment before.
Wow, cool. Maybe it's a turning point in your life because you realize at this point that your entire ideas are based on an emotional response that you have. Do you realize how ridiculous that is?
Not at all, no, but I can see where you would come from with that.
Why wouldn't that be? Why wouldn't that be? If you had an irrational feeling.
Brian Staveley is like, how would
What
you
did
say,
he do to you, Jay? What did he
the
do to
blonde
you?
guy in Dumb and Dumber. You know, he's just that guy. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't.
Just not
I'm
allowed
really
to sit at your
fucking
table,
dumb.
brother. That's
Correct.
That's a sign of immaturity.
I mean, I'm 23.
Yeah,
God has
that's
chosen us
immature,
to see
dude.
these
That's
things. It doesn't
immature.
matter if you like us or
You
not.
ain't even, your brain ain't even got close to being done till you're around 30 years old.
That's mine.
27.
Okay, you're a kid. I'm sorry.
I am a kid.
Yeah. And I think you're coming from a place of pathos without an even balance of logos.
I think that's bad for the truth community.
It is absolutely. You come in making some kind. Well, I just feel like it, and because he talks this way.
Well, no, I have my own beliefs on it, but it's a lot to get into.
No, we got it. Go. I want to hear this.
Well, it goes back to a statement, and I'll summarize it in a very simplistic way. But I can hear myself in somebody's background echo. I'm not sure who that is.
I'm not getting an echo.
How would I say it? Staveley, along with many other truthers, demonstrate the shillness about them. They push certain narratives. And then I go back to what I said earlier.
Hold on a second. Please digress. Shillness. I'm still not familiar with what that means.
You understand that shill has a paid component to it.
Correct.
Okay.
And Brian Staveley is paid to push the Mandela effect.
Paid by who?
Who knows?
He's not making any money. He's not making any money on
They're
his
not paying
channel.
to push the Mandela effect.
Hold on a second, John.
Now, you don't know that, though. Jay, I'm not sure who John is.
All right. So here's the thing, Jay. He's not making money on his channels. He's had his one main channel with the major amounts of subscribers on it taken down. He's had to go on several backup channels. Okay. He's gotten restrictions all over the fucking place on his channel. All right. So he's not making money on his channel at all. He had to recently, just so he could make ends meet as a result of that bullshit, has to go and back to work. So he's not going to be able to stream as much. So he's still streaming though and not making any money.
Yeah, I know. I've gotten a few of them. I popped in his chat a few times and told him he's a Mossad agent.
Yeah, I know.
Fighter. Okay. You want my take? I mean, this is a complete joke. Oh, and somebody in the chat wants me to address my Mossad affiliation. Yeah, whatever, pal. Stick it.
Yeah.
Marvin, I'm being joined right now by a New York City firefighter, Morel Gibbs. He's been...
That's really cool. So you come into people's chat like a troll.
Correct.
Because
I troll people. So does the Call for an Uprising.
Why do you troll people?
So does Russian Vids. I'm not trolling you. I came up here to have a genuine discussion. I wasn't trolling Sean's source the other day when I was doing his stream.
An asshole.
We had a decent conversation.
Listen, Russian Vids is an asshole. Okay.
I wouldn't say he's an asshole. I would say he's very sensitive.
I would. That crazy motherfucker thinks that just because somebody scratches their nose a certain way, oh, that guy's Illuminati, you can tell. Look at that.
That's Masonic gesture.
He's as bad as you are.
Can I propose that people that don't believe in the Mandela effect aren't even in the arena enough and a level of discernment to know when there's a shield? Because
come on now,
if you don't hold on, the only thing that you could be looking for, Jay, is someone pushing the Mandela credited. That's the only thing a shield
like Brian Staveley.
Like,
okay, so that would mean you believe it. You believe that the bad guys are trying to hide the truth.
I believe that the bad guys are trying to make themselves seem like good guys.
Well,
no, I don't think you're part of the truth community at all.
Somebody mentioned that Brian Staveley lost his page and his views dwindled. Now we can say the same thing about Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian whistleblower. He lost his page, and look at him. He told me to get an audience. Now I have an audience, and now he don't have an audience. It doesn't matter.
I know that I'm the bad guy. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a appearance in the chat room, $5 from 2LiterJay, who's not really his testosterone wouldn't even come close to filling 2 liters, and he thinks that he can yell and scream at me enough that I will debate him. I don't have time for you, pipsqueak. Get some followers, get more than your family listening to you, and then we'll talk. But if you want to pay me $5 to insult you publicly, feel free to do it anytime. My face is right here. I am showing it to you, but I'm not going to debate you when you got, how many subscribers you got? You got, dude, you don't even have any content on your channel. Get out of here, pipsqueak. 2-liter pipsqueak. Get out of here. Anyway, he's a guy with about 16 subscribers.
Well,
No,
what
the
do you
only
get
thing
part of the
that
truth
would-
community at all? I think that you're part of the,
somebody mentioned that Brian Staveley lost his page and his views dwindled. Now we can say the same thing about Jeffrey Daughtery, the Christian whistleblower. He lost his page, and look at him. He told me to get an audience. Now I have an audience, and now he don't have an audience. It doesn't matter. It's to make themselves seem legit. So them losing an 80,000 sub channel, that's just part of what has to be done.
That doesn't sound like
You've
a very
got to
big
have an
strategy.
idea of what the agenda is with this
That sounds-
thing.
yeah,
Nobody knows what the agenda is.
No,
That,
you can't.
that's
You can't call
it's
skill
why
unless you
it's
got an idea.
in operation.
What the
So
agenda
let me get
is.
this straight, John.
First off.
John. Let me just handle this here because this is.
I'm
fucking
not
nuts.
sure who John is. Are you referring to me as John?
No, I'm talking to John Thomas, the guy that was just fucking talking to you. His name's
Oh, okay.
right on his window.
Well, I can't really see that. I work
Well,
on it.
then, if I say John, I'm not talking to you, so it doesn't fucking matter, does it?
Well, I mean, it sounds like you're talking to me, but
No.
sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. So what I'm trying to get at is this idea that you're basically, and this is obvious, because out of all the people that talk about the Mandela effect, you've got a severe problem with Brian Staveley, and that's evident. That's evident.
Well, no, I don't have a problem with Brian Staveley.
I'm not
You
done.
mentioned
I'm not done.
Mandela
I'm not-
effect.
Yeah, I know.
So if we mention gematria, I would target Zachary K. Hubbard because that's
Okay,
the
well,
shield
I
that
don't
pushes
put a
that.
lot of I don't put a lot of faith in
Israelite.
gematria.
Correct.
Okay.
And loosely
So,
associated.
What other Mandela effect creators?
I follow some of the Quran too, so does that make me a Muslim? I follow
All right.
Christ.
What part
so
of the
does-
Quran do you
Christian.
follow?
Jay.
The part where the Solomon's not a wizard?
Not
Are
at
you
all.
into
No,
Solomonic
Solomon was a
stuff?
wizard.
That's the part of the Bible you like, isn't it? Proverbs.
You pray to Mecca?
Not at all. No.
Okay.
Are you snare?
God damn it.
Are you? What kind of question is that?
Takes one to know one.
So Jay, once again, what I've been
No, but like the literature that I follow is the entirety of the Bible, the Apocrypha,
You put
the
just
Book of
everything?
Enoch, Dead Sea Scrolls, the parts of the Nag Hammadi that don't pertain to a mystic side,
How come you
and
don't
the
know
Christ
anything about
part
it?
of the Christ part of the Quran.
Wait a second. How do you follow something and you don't know shit about it? That's what's got me. I mean, right? I mean, I'm trying. I'm thinking, oh, cool. Here's somebody who knows something about scripture. We can go to these things, and it's like, what? He doesn't even know where these things are at, man.
Well, I told you that beforehand that I don't know the verses off the top of my hand,
Why didn't you had a Bible in your fucking hand?
and I still have it right here.
Well, there you go. Why'd it take you so long to look it up? I had to tell you the damn verse and chapters 17 different times. I mean, Christ Almighty, dude! I think you're a plant or something.
I mean, that's your own
What's
conclusion.
happening is you're giving in. You've got a spiritual agenda, and you're not even aware of it, and it's causing you to want to have fun with people and think they're crazy.
right.
And come look at the crazy people. They believe it.
Well, I think I'm up here at the moment talking to what I would
want
perceive
you
to be crazy people.
I
But I
got
mean,
it.
I'm not insulting anybody. But you're mentioning.
I'm not either. But here's the thing, Jay. Here's another part of this that I wanted to ask you. So, what other creators that cover Mandela effect have you watched?
None.
Well, then what in the fuck are you talking about? You watch one channel. You don't like the guy. What do you do? Time you out for being a dick in chat or something? Probably, most likely.
Yes, but that was beforehand. That was after
Now
everything.
the real agenda
You're
comes
having
out.
too much
So
fun.
you don't really think these things. You just want to come on a platform and
Not at all. No, I
fucking
actually
bang
do legit think
accusations.
the Mandela effect is a to make the truth community and the truther people seem like loonies.
Yeah, I think that's what
You think that we came to make you look crazy?
I think you're the one.
No, not at all. I think you guys. I think
See
you
how
guys
that doesn't work?
fell for the narrative.
I think that's exactly what you're doing, Jay. I think that you got a rock up your ass for some reason with Brian Staveley. And if
You guys keep mentioning Brian Staveley, so I go back to
that's
him.
the only person you've brought up.
Correct.
That's the only person you've brought up because that's the only one you've watched. But you determined.
Familiar with.
Hold on. You determined that the Mandela effect was a psyop
Because it is.
merely by watching one creator.
Well, I've seen other videos, but that's the only guy I know by name that pushes the narrative.
What is the
What'd you do?
psyop?
You use Google to get those? Hold on, I'm talking.
It is exactly what's going on.
What'd you do? Did you use Google to look
I've
for
used, well, that's what Mandela effect is. It's a psychological operation.
Did you use Google to find the other fucking
I've
Mandela
used
effect stuff?
Google to navigate me to certain sites. I've used YouTube
Okay,
to
that's what
pinpoint
now.
me to people
All
like
right.
this.
So when you
Everybody does.
when you went looking for Mandela effect, right? You used Google, right?
And YouTube.
Okay, right.
And Reddit.
You realize that?
But I've got to all those through Google.
All right,
so.
listen to me. Listen to me. Do you realize that YouTube and Google are the same, right? They're the same
Correct,
company?
same company.
Right. All right. Okay, great. Now, have you also ever
I've
noticed?
used BitChute too.
All right,
times.
so
I'm also on BitChute. Check me out.
All right,
Days
so-
Nomad with the Z. Days.
All
STM.
right, let me finish, and I don't care who else. Just stay on topic, bro. All right. So you Googled this. Now, do you know what happens when you Google flat Earth? Or
Yeah, you get a lot of disinformation agents.
Right. And so that didn't happen when you Googled or YouTube searched for Mandela effect, right?
It might have had. There's that possibility.
Can I tell you what's really?
It's a dead certainty. You know it's a dead certainty. You already know it is.
Can I tell you what's really happening here? A lot of come lately people, a lot of young people, they're just now starting out and found out that their parents are liars. You know that. I mean, that's a lot 20 years ago for a lot of people now. Have come and they're here to decimate the actual truth community of people because they found that we believe in stuff that they don't now. That's what's really happening here.
Is it?
Yes.
When
They
somebody
decided that this is yours now, just like David took the
psychologically,
ephod
which is
from
mentally,
the high priest.
it is a psyop. That
He was
includes what
there.
you're saying. It is going on. The
I
whole
like this.
is a psyop because it's a psychological operation. Is it not happening? No, it is happening.
This dreamy individual. I like you. You're pretty cool.
Thank you.
So
I do see your point when you say a psychological operation, but you have to understand the words and the definition of those words.
You only see his point because he called you cool.
Knowing what a psychological operation can be comprised of,
right,
and coming to the conclusion of that with doing no research into it whatsoever.
Well, there's not really much research to
There
be
isn't.
brought into stuff when the whole psychological operation is coming to the realization that something's taken place and we don't know what's going on. Necessarily, the government could be planting psychological operations right now, and we have no forefront knowledge to what's going on. It's the realization
Right. Okay,
than
so
anything else.
let's just real quick take
There
a
could be
look.
psychological operations out there that
So then,
somebody may think
Jay-
of that they
Jay-
have no backing behind it.
So Jay, here let's
Go
stay on track.
Well,
we
I am.
all
I'm
know
just
what
throwing
it-
some
we
theory.
all know. We all know this. We all know this. We all know this.
Okay.
We're not baby truthers, babe. Been at this a long time, really. Okay.
And I'm
So
not
now-
denying anything.
So now here's the thing.
Okay.
Psychological operation like this would require that there's bands of stealthy ninja-like cat burglars.
There are, though.
Oh, I know. And they're going into everybody's house. They know that this person has a copy of a certain book or a certain movie or a Bible or some other thing. And they go through while these people don't know, while they're gone to work or some other shit, they come in and they stealthily change these things. See?
They do that.
Oh,
Have you
get
looked
the
into
fuck
the
outta
gangs?
here. Do it
Have
to
you not looked
everybody.
into the gang stalking situations where the
Hold on,
TIs are
hold on,
claiming
hold on, hold
that
on,
perps are entering
Jay,
into their
are
house?
you
Are you not
serious?
familiar with that? Yeah, I am
Yes,
very
I
serious
am.
with that.
So you're saying that they were going around all over the earth into
Correct.
hundreds and thousands of people's homes at the same time.
I'm not saying they're changing shit, but you're trying to
Then how's
correlate
it
as
happening?
some kind of
How
joke
is
as
then
people going
how
into
is it
houses,
happening?
the government going into people's houses, when in reality, have you ever listened to the stories from gang stalking victims, the TIs, targeted
Are you
individuals, when they
applying any
mention that the
fucking
perps are
logic?
entering into their house? Now that
Jay,
actually does happen,
I
my friend.
know,
But are they
but what
changing
you're
shit? No.
Jesus Christ,
But you're trying to joke about it.
what you are suggesting is not only impossible but retarded.
How is that
Okay?
retarded? Are you
How is it
claiming that
retarded?
targeted individuals are retarded?
Yeah.
How is that
okay.
retarded? Are you
How is it
claiming that
retarded?
targeted individuals are retarded?
Yeah.
How is that
okay.
retarded? Are you
How is it
claiming that
retarded?
targeted individuals are retarded?
Yeah.
How is that
okay.
retarded? Are you
How is it
claiming that
retarded?
targeted individuals are retarded?
Yeah. So there's like
Well,
here's
then
the-
you would say that's a psyop as well when that actually happens?
Jay, I didn't. How did we get onto gang stalking? We're talking.
Because you mentioned people, you're trying to joke as to the government entering somebody's house,
I'm not.
changing
Hold on.
some kind
Here's
of
why
book and
you
movie and
can't
shit.
think. This is why you're unable to think. Think for a change.
No, I am, but I'm just
All right, I
throwing the
want
idea.
you to really listen to what I'm saying. This means that these people are all going into hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people's homes at the same time
He
period.
didn't say that, Saul.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't give a fuck about the gang stalking. I'm talking about the explanation for how this could actually happen as a psyop. This would mean that there has to be someone physically fucking doing it, right?
Why do you think people
Not at all, no.
are?
But the government does do that, though. They do go into people's
I
houses.
didn't dispute that, and that's not
unwillingly.
that's not the topic of what we're talking about.
It's not, but you're trying to joke as that.
No, I'm not.
If they
I'm
don't do that.
joking that these gang stalking groups are going into hundreds and thousands of people's fucking
They
houses.
do that. I've
And they
interviewed a
think-
few TIs already.
Jay, can I ask you something? You believe that
Go ahead, brother.
targeted individuals exist?
Correct.
Okay. In 2007, Israel accused me of throwing a bomb in the Ben Gurion airport, a trash can. I'm telling you, this happened. I got questioned as a terrorist, held, everything. In 2014, I decided I was going to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles. I was coming back to Israel. Okay.
Okay.
I got met when I got off the plane with people who said, "Mr. Thomas, come with us." Is that not the epitome of we know you was coming?
Yeah.
Yeah, they knew you were
What do
coming.
you think that does when the most
See,
powerful
here's the thing.
nation
This
has
is
you in their hands, and
John.
they say you're a terrorist?
That stuff does happen.
Yes,
Okay,
John.
you believe
John,
it happens.
John.
Correct.
He's sidetracking to get off of his preposterous.
No, I'm not at all. No,
All right,
you
so
mentioned
we're not-
people entering houses as
we're
a
not-
joke, and that
All right,
does
so-
happen.
All right, everyone.
I'm just
everyone,
throwing that
I'm gonna
idea out
mute
there.
every motherfucker on here right now if I don't get to fucking say what I want to say. I'm getting tired of this.
I'm not interrupting anybody.
All right,
Please
so
continue.
here's
I'm listening.
okay. Now, we're not talking about people being gang stalked. Okay, we're talking about a meticulous operation that would have to take place where people are actually, you got bands of these fucking people going around sneaking into people's houses without them knowing, okay, and changing their exact copy of a family Bible, changing it with one with just select words and things changed in it, changing their movies in their movie collection, picking out the ones that have the changes and replacing them with exact fucking copies, the little ding in the box and every goddamn thing where Billy drew on the back of the cover with his crayon, all that. They change all that shit while you're gone to work and shit like that to hundreds and thousands of people, and nobody has seen anybody do it.
No, that's impossible.
All right, of course it's impossible. That's what I'm saying. So how is it possible that these things that I just described has happened?
And okay.
How would I answer that?
You
if you would give me a brief moment to phrase that well. people are recollecting memory-wise necessarily is loosely remembered a certain way when in reality it's not. You know what I mean?
Statistically and probability, it's impossible for that many people.
Hold on,
to have
just
the
let me
same
finish real
memory.
quick. I let you talk, man. Just let me get my point across. What people are recollecting memory-wise is a loose memory of what actually happened and what actually is there. You know what I'm saying? So when you have an idea such as the Mandela effect, different people who experience different similar events in their life can correlate that back to one idea, and that would be the Mandela effect. But then who put that into place? Necessarily the government. And so they would know that people such as Truther Community would be propelled to a narrative, a topic such as the Mandela effect. So they put their pawns in place to push that narrative.
You're saying we're suffering from MK Ultra, that this is a part of a plan to control our minds. They did the butterfly effect.
I did not say that, but you can put something like that, yes.
All right,
okay.
all right.
Here's what I didn't like about what you said earlier, and y'all didn't really let me finish.
All right. Because you could go
okay. You believe targeted individuals exist. You believe that targeted individuals exist. And you said you believe my story.
I've talked to a few of them.
Okay. And then
that's some shit, man.
Earlier you said, okay, if it did change, that would mean nothing to you. So what?
So what? What are you referring to?
You didn't say that earlier. That even if it did change, that'd mean nothing to you. So what?
So what? What are you talking about?
You said that the changes are no big deal, even if they have changed, no big deal.
And you don't want a power that can come and change it all? That wouldn't mean nothing.
No, what I referred to was even if the Mandela effect is a thing, so what? What does that accomplish?
What does it accomplish? There's hope, brother. They can't control it. They're not in control. Their whole history's a lie. They don't even know what their history is. God does.
Right.
So the thing is that so I can understand
it's a mutual
someone having a mismemory about something, right? I can
correct. That's necessarily what I think it is.
So did you misremember Exodus then? So God's name always was jealous then? A blasphemous statement like that was always in the Bible?
Could have been. I'm familiar with I'm not very familiar with it saying the name of God is jealous. I know it as he is a jealous God. But then again, I would refer to my man who's studied the Bible longer
that's
than
your
me.
problem.
My
you
lieutenant.
Refer to other people.
What's it going to take to be free now, Jay? How are we going to stop them? Are they too powerful now? I'm asking you. Will the truth?
I don't know. That's the mission.
Will the truth community win? They hear us right now, right?
Well, that depends, though, because there's two dynamics in the truth community. You have the ones that don't follow biblical, a biblical narrative, and then you have the ones who do follow it. So necessarily, which side of the truth community do you
know? Which biblical narrative psyop to feed you to make you think you're doing good and get a good social credit score, and you're going to go on with the plan is what will happen with that mode.
Jay, I got something on that.
Only God can save us now. And that's what the Mandela effect will help you with once you realize it.
So
they're
Jay,
scared because they're not in control. That's why they are hiding it.
So Jay, here's the thing on that, right?
Okay.
You got this Bible.
See, there's my guy right there in the chat, Alex. What's up, man?
Cool. Great. Look, a butterfly. All right. So here's
my lieutenant, man.
Into a book.
Hashtag STM.
Holy fucking God, dude.
Sorry, man. My bad. I'll mute myself.
All right. So now, in the very book that you're talking about that you said you don't know much about, it is prophesied in a few places that these things are going to happen. So as a person of the scripture, you should be going, holy shit, it's coming. It's going to happen. It's happening. It is happening. Look, prophecy is being fulfilled. This is not somebody doing this shit. This is coming from another dimension. There's no way that the mortal people could actually pull this kind of a thing off. No way, no how.
Hey, Dave.
Correct.
Much love,
And I have an
everybody.
answer
I
to
haven't
that.
really said anything yet, but I want to add something on there. You know, I've been looking into how this kind of stuff could be done, and there's it's through electromagnetic fields and through the hippocampus of your brain where memories actually store. And there's actual magnetite crystals, billions of them in the brain, that make chains called magnetosomes. And there's ways to artificially either put new magnetosomes in there or control them in certain ways and actually alter reality at a base level. You know.
Well, see, that's all. That would be all well and good if you're just changing people's memories, but it's not just memories. We have residue. We have actual residue of the way it used to be.
Because what is reality, right? Reality is formulated in the mind. Even like the hermetists and stuff would say, the universe is mental. Right?
Pretty specific,
it's all created within the mind. So if you're able to affect the mind at a base level, you'll affect reality and everything in it too. You know what I mean?
Cage, it's very specific, and there's a pattern. This is what we're finding. There's a pattern, and these changes are specific.
And God's doing it all.
No, he's not. What did I just tell you? What did I just tell you? We read it in Daniel. We saw it in Amos. What does it say? It says it in Revelation too.
Are you referring to him allowing
to
give authority unto other things? Necessarily that would still come from him.
Well, so what?
So right? I said God is in control of it all.
So if you get shot by a cop, was it the state that shot you or was it the fucking cop?
Well, then that would go into determination and determinism.
Cop. It was the fucking cop. I'll just help you out there because that's the answer. It
was that determined to happen though?
Well, I don't whether it was or wasn't. It doesn't matter. What you're doing is
it does matter though.
Okay, you're being pedantic. Okay,
Did
do you
the
know what
cop
that
shoot
means?
you or not?
No, not at all.
Okay, look it up. You have a little device in your hand, and you like Google, so look up the word pedantic. And
I shall. How do you spell it?
Oh my word!
I'm not familiar with that word. You got to remember, I did, and I'm a college graduate.
It's like Dave. It's an interesting thing though, because it's like memory. It's like the chicken or the egg, right? Like if your memory was changed, you would. How would you know that? That the words actually changed on the page. You think it's kind of weird thing to think about if you dig deep into it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I'll show you why. I will show you why.
Because the universe is mental, right? I think everything's created within the mind.
Okay, so now the Isaiah 11:6, it's never been a lion and a lamb. It's always been the wolf and the lamb.
Maybe people are just referring to that differently.
Phone just a second.
Maybe somebody misremembered that.
Okay, let's go.
Maybe somebody ran with that, misremembered it, ran with it as a slogan, and then boom, we all remember it like that.
Let's go with that. Let's go with that. Okay. Now I just did lion.
And by the way, I have until about 12:20ish. I got work tomorrow at night.
So if you stop interrupting me, I can get through what I'm trying to show you.
The information comes from.
Right. So
but
now,
there were certain questions though. I don't know if people want those answers.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Now,
sorry.
All right. So I just did a standard search for lion and lamb, and I want you to pay note. You can see
it's not there though.
What the fuck are you talking about? It's not there. It's on the goddamn screen. What do you see these pictures? Do you see the ones where here's a cross? There are all kinds of religious. Let's see if we can find. Oh, there's another one. There's another one. Look at that. Holy shit. Why would they have that? Where's the wolf? Where the fuck is the wolf? Why do we not have that? This is what I'm trying to get at with you, is that you're not seeing what the fuck is going on. This is residue. We have the lion and the lamb. This is another picture of the lion with the lamb because the lion represents Jesus.
Correct.
Okay. We have tombstones of little children and shit that have the lion and the lamb on top of the fucking stone. We have lion and lamb ministries all over. Watch this. Watch this. I'm going to say lion and lamb ministries.
But the text that you're referring to, it's the wolf and the lamb.
Yes, I know. It wasn't that before. It's changed to that.
Are you
That's
sure?
yes. Look, I'm showing you right the fuck now. Man.
But maybe somebody referenced that wrong because Christ is the
Everybody,
Lion of
hold
Judah,
on, wait.
the Lamb of God.
Everybody's referencing
Could be
it
wrong
wrong.
vocabulary that I'm referring to,
Dude,
but
do
I
you
mean,
realize the statistical impossibility of the shit that you're talking about right now? Look
not
at
at all.
all
No.
these. This is Lion and Lamb Ministries. These are just their pictures and logos of them all over the fucking world. Why aren't they making the wolf and lamb?
When you were in school, did they ever do like a demonstration where you had your classmates and one of them
Yeah,
was
I know what you're talking
separate
about. The
to you, and then they
telephone
would
game,
whisper in
dude.
your
It's
ear,
not the fucking
and at the end of the
telephone game.
kid, the message would change?
Yeah, it's not the fucking telephone game, G. Look, you
Kind of
are
is a little bit,
in
if you want to put it like that.
No, it's not. You mean to tell me that
Over the
hundreds
centuries, something could have been misinterpreted? That's highly illogical to believe in?
Isaiah 11:6 never said that. Okay, look, we've got hundreds and hundreds.
ETT are you familiar with this?
With what?
No, I'm referring to my guy in the chat. I'm asking him if he's referencing this.
Why do we have so many Lion and Lamb Ministries? Look, these are just the pictures from their logos. We've got, look, here's even a guy with a yarmulke on that's talking about with the lion and the lamb. Okay, so let's just go over to the regular search results and we'll see what we get. And here we go, Lion and Lamb Ministries, Messianic Hebrew Roots. Look at there. Lion and Lamb Ministries on YouTube. We've got another one. Here's the Lion and Lamb Ministries, News and Bible Prophecy. You can go on and on and on, and all these people are just misremembering. People that are clergy misremembering a fucking scripture, that's like a pilot not knowing what the altimeter is.
Well, if they're constantly remembering it as the lion and the lamb,
I don't know if you've ever been to church or
I have,
not.
yes.
Okay. Usually the minister, he opens his Bible up to the passage he's reading and reads that passage from the Bible to the parishioners who also look it up in their Bible and follow along. Okay.
Right.
All
but
right.
that also is a very
I'm sure you
popular
realize
verse in imagery.
I'm sure that the word that you realize that the word lion and the word wolf are nowhere near close to the same.
Correct.
All right. So what you're claiming is that all of these fucking people worldwide are just misremembering. Even people that are clergy, that's their job even, right?
Correct.
That's their fucking job.
And the existence of Mandela effect attracts people like that.
Dude, they were are you fucking shitting me, man?
No.
Dude, you are reaching really bad. You really are. I mean, this is classic cognitive dissonance denial. Because
I would say the same thing about you.
Wait a second. I just showed you hundreds and hundreds of examples.
You showed me pictures of a lamb and a lion. Referring back to a Bible passage.
Right.
But it's a very popular verse and very popular imagery.
Okay. Why? If it's never
just
been
a popular
there,
verse.
Why? Well, if it's a popular verse, why isn't it depicted correctly with a wolf?
I don't know.
Well, probably because it's fucked up. That's why.
Could be.
Well, that could be obvious. It's obvious, dude. It's completely obvious. And at this point, you're just being obstinate because
hey Dave. What if it's something that we don't know? Hey Dave, what if it's something that we don't know and that it's like 50-50? Kind of like we're both right.
I love how this panel is loosely, far from the mindsets of individuals on here.
Right. Whatever. So if you can see the search criteria that I put in there,
#STM.
Lion and Lamb Ministries, right? That's what I did a search for. And we saw all these examples. We're going to go to that's the second page. Here's the third page. Here's more Lion and Lamb Ministries all around the world. But all these people are misremembering. And Lion and Lamb Ministries image search isn't just looking for a lion and lamb. No. We have Lion and Lamb Ministries with logos all around the fucking world. So all these people just misremembered that, right?
It's a possibility.
You're hurting the truth community by bringing that same goddamn globe logic into this.
I didn't present no globe logic.
Yeah, you did. Circular logic, impossibilities.
That's a
with
stretch.
absolutely nothing to back it up. You came in here and you called somebody that studies in the Mandela effect community massage shill without a shred of fucking evidence of it other than your feeling.
Well, if you get into my mindset and my perspective regarding the Mandela effect, you would think people like that. You would think people like Brian Staveley are still.
I think you're a paranoid schizophrenic.
You just didn't like
I think you're paranoid.
Well, I think people who believe in Mandela effect stem from a form of schizophrenia.
Well,
Hey,
that's all well and good.
I think we should bridge the gap
But
because
much
we're
love,
both
brother.
on the same page. Okay, so Dave, he's a flat earther. Okay, he's a flat earther.
No, he's
so
not.
this is
No, he isn't. You want me to prove it?
Okay, I thought he was a flat earther. Okay.
No, I am, by the way. I got flat Earth videos. I've
Really?
done
That's cool. So how
three-part
did the seasons work on a flat Earth?
I don't know.
Well, then shut the fuck up. You're not a flat earther. That's one of the first goddamn things you learn. You are a liar. You came on here just to bad.
Well, I stem to flat Earth more as a biblical understanding, biblical cosmology. There's flat Earthers that don't believe in the Bible.
All right, then by Enoch. Enoch tells you, and you said you like Enoch, right? Okay, so how does the seasons work? Enoch says the same thing, so go ahead.
I don't have the scriptures memorized. I've already stated that to you.
You don't have to have them memorized. Just give us the gist of it.
The gist of it? Yeah. I can't present that to you.
Paraphrase.
I don't have the book open.
Wow. You've not read it.
I've read it. Yes, I have.
Reconciliation,
Hack show.
don't you think?
So
It'd make
hang
a
on.
good show, Dave.
John, hang on. We're going to see how much of a flat earther you really are. Okay. So you don't know how the seasons work in the flat earth model at all, right?
I'm familiar with it. I just
Go
don't
ahead.
have anything
Give me
memorized.
an idea. Just give me an idea as to how they work. What makes it be winter time here in the United States?
Compared to as what?
Compared to as summertime here in the United States.
Right.
Okay.
What's Brian's angle on? You said that he's there to discredit. He's to point to it and then discredit.
Yeah. So the answer would be Dave. Okay, let me take a guess. Okay, I'm a flat earther. Okay, let me see if I can guess it right, which I think I will.
To that conclusion.
Is because the sun is actually small and local, and it is actually moving between the tropic lines. And so when it's summer, where the sun is above the north, and when it's winter, the sun is above the south. So that would that be a correct answer?
Well, that's science.
Well, it's not science.
Biblical understanding.
It says it in Enoch too, man.
I remember whenever I started finding all the people that believe in flat Earth, when I'd been believing it since I was about 8 years old, and I'm 58 now, so that would have been 58 years ago.
That's beautiful.
I really didn't know about how the sun and moon would work until I met Sovereign. So there was a lot about that I didn't know, and have learned a little bit more over the time that I've been learning, and I've got 58 years on the subject. Well,
Dreamy, did you ever learn anything by condemning it without investigating it?
Well, I've accepted a lot of bullshit in my life. Absolutely, I bought into lies and deception, but that just wasn't one of them.
Well, did you ever go, oh, bullshit, I don't know anything about it, but I'm just not even going to give it the thought?
Well, I think I made some opinion or had opinions that were unfounded. Let's put it that way. You know, where I would assume certain things because I'd heard this or that, but never went and looked into it myself, if that answers your question. So yeah, kind of, I have to say I have. I have to admit it.
Right.
biblical in your understanding, but you believe in science, you said.
Oh.
Well, I believe in science too. I don't believe in scientism. Science is not.
I'm right here, man. Yes, there's a different form of science. What you're referring to as space and planets and shit, that's necessarily a little bit different.
Okay, but we also believe if we're biblical in any of our understanding of anything, that we have to account for, because the Bible's all about supernatural things happening.
Correct. That's part of it.
Supernatural is just the will of God.
Yeah. Listen. We're gonna get on to our show, John.
Bible here.
This is about Mandela.
I know that's all right. We're gonna get on with our show, Jay. I wanted that you came on here just to be a detraction. You're not a flat earther. You have a beef with the church. No, you don't know anything.
Your idea.
About it.
Well, I can give you a rundown of what I believe in, if that's
I don't
beneficial.
care. I don't care at this
No,
point.
see, now you're denying my my point.
No, I'm
you're
not
claiming
denying.
something without allowing myself to explain it.
So here's what's going on.
I think a lot of flat earthers can't give you that kind of answer.
Okay, so as I was saying, okay, this is what's going to happen if people fucking keep doing that. So as I was saying, you came on here because you hate Brian Staveley. You've not investigated anything into the Mandela effect yet. You're going to condemn it as a shill psyop. You called somebody in that community a Mossad agent without any evidence or receipts other than your feeling about it. You claim to be a flat earther, but you have not studied into that at all either. I'm finding it hard to understand how in the fuck you are any part of a truther community at all. Okay.
If you were any sort of a flat earther, you would actually kind of have a little bit of an understanding of how the seasons would work on a flat earth.
Sorry, bro.
Dude, that doesn't really matter.
It doesn't.
Well,
So how are you bringing truth to anything when you go off with wild ass accusations?
Well, I can give you verses referring to main molten glass, the firmament being the dome, a local sun and moon within it, the outer waters. I can give you a demonstration to what I believe in.
Yeah, you've not studied into the Mandela effect yet. You're ready to condemn it. You don't have an open mind about anything whatsoever. You've made a predetermined decision based on a thorn in your butthole with Brian Staveley or the Mandela effect. It obviously hurt you on an emotional level, and this is why you're going. And so, Jay, I'm just going to say, bro, it's been real. It's been nice, but it hasn't been real nice. We'll see you later.
You need to show us how that's the case.
No, I mean, he's just look, he's a troll. He's just here to fucking obfuscate. He tried to play like he's part of the community. He's not. I've never even heard of the guy.
He needs to show us how he's.
For a little brief intermission, I just want to throw out there that I came on here with the accusation of claiming somebody to be a shill. Necessarily, they're referring to a quote on slogan that I kind of referred to it as a vibe, if you want to put it like that. But with that case, though, they ran with the assumption that I was in the same float of boat regarding a quote on shill disinformation agent pushing a psyop trying to discredit the Mandela effect. But I mean, it's kind of a little oxymoron right there, you know what I'm saying? Getting mad at, an accusation, but then yet going back to that same tactic of throwing an accusation at somebody. Just want to bring that out there. Back to the video.
No.
I mean, I don't even know the guy. I mean, what the fuck,
He should have already had his battle plan ready if he was going to throw around, names and stuff. He needed to know.
No, he just wanted to be able to come on here and say some stupid shit because somehow Brian Staveley's angered him in some way. And so now he just wants to attack him with some.
Well, you know what I think it is? But you know what? He said something about Elf on a Shelf. That everybody's giving him the creeps. You know what I'm saying? That's talking about it. And I think there is some sort of like spirit, and I think that he's one of them. That spirit's got him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does.
Alienate them, stay away from them, stay back, and that's a negative spirit. And he, even if he thought Brian was a shill and owed him an apology tomorrow, right now his ego's so far out of control he probably wouldn't even give it to him.
No, he's got a long way to go. Long way to go. I would suggest before you try to contribute to the truther community, you should actually learn some truths first. You know, and half-assedly listening to what someone else tells you about the Bible, like whoever this guy is that you rely on is to know these things. You're not doing your own thing. You're taking on what somebody else is telling you. You need to learn these things and discern them for yourself.
Well, I don't recall anyone asking him at what age he started learning about the Bible and learning these things. And that would tell us a lot about how much information he has been able to ascertain at this point.
Yeah, well, listen, I wasn't ready for a foxhole on my first day of basic training. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay. So, like I said, if you're going to come in with shit like that, you got to have some receipts, something a little better of, well, I just feel it.
And you know what else?
They're still trolling in chat. It's ridiculous. No, dude, we have plenty of open minds and willingness to discuss things, but it can't be like several hours and getting nowhere. It's just not fruitful.
I mean, I showed you several examples of.
We are getting to something though here, Brian. There's a spiritual aspect that got him charged up. Dave.
Oh, absolutely. I concur with you.
And you know, and spotting these patterns, I mean, it's healthy. And you know what? I've also noticed one thing that turns you off when you get like after you start investigating the Mandela effect. Everybody's got a far differing philosophy almost.
You know, like your thing with Samson and
everybody's
Samson,
kind of radically different.
you know, like, hey John, like your memory, like with your memory of Samson and Samson, right? Now, see, there again, we have common Mandelas that we know, you know, we go, yeah, no shit, that's fucked up. But see, for me, I've always known it without the P, but for you, you've known it with the P. So there's another fucked up thing with this too, see? And I'm like, what is going on with this shit? But there again, like with Samsonite, was named after Samson, you know, because of the strength of the stuff. But who knows? Maybe that changed. I don't know. It's so hard to do. But when you show someone and have them actually go and find, here it is. Here's your Bible. Look, like what we did.
Claim that it'll all go back and then everybody who we just anchored his memory. Dave, remember when he said, "What's an anchor memory? I don't get it," and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And then who's John Thomas? You know what I mean? When you say John, you talking to me?
For a little brief intermission, I had to pause this video right here. The individual just said that I am hearing voices referring to something, referring to me as John. No, what initially why I phrased John towards me is because I kept interpreting this sovereign soul individual referring to me, Jay, as John, because a few instances he was talking to me, or it seemed like he was talking to me, and he was referring to me as John instead of what my screen name says. So that's a little stretch, you know, but it is what it is. Back to this.
And all this stuff.
Yeah.
So if he didn't know every time you said John, what was that voice he was talking to that whole time? If he didn't know that was John Thomas. See what I'm saying? He's talking to voices, or else see how many games he's playing? That's that spiritual aspect of what they're doing is
right. Well, here's just the topper of the cake, right? Here's just the topper to the cake.
That's how strong it has them.
We actually had this. I know, John. Let me get my point out now. It's this thing where we had him actually take his Bible and showed him these changes, and he still went, nuh-uh, right? and was showed in the examples of the lion and the lamb thing, right? That's a big one. No, these people are all just misremembering that shit. Look, dude, you can't be that dumb. Nobody could be that dumb as to think that it's even close to statistically possible that that many people would misremember such a poignant and often repeated verse out of the Bible.
He's not
Well,
allowed.
that's why I was saying that we don't know how much or how long that he has been learning this. I know a lot of families don't teach their kids anything about the Bible, don't even have a Bible in their house and never have.
I'm one of those. I'm one of them. I don't have a Bible in my house.
So if you just were new on the scene, you've might have heard things, so that just gives you an opinion. It doesn't really give you any foundation. But once you have a background where you were raised in it,
right,
day in and day out in schools, in their private schools, in their churches, in every meeting they have, and you don't go outside of that. I lived that way for 16 years. And then when I got out, I learned the damn truth. I decided I was going to find out the truth because all of them son of a bitches lied to me. And when I died, I really found out how much they lied to me. But one of the things that I always wanted to know was my adversary. And that they didn't want me to learn anything about that. So I set out to learn who my adversary was.
Right. That's what you got to do, man. That's
I don't
exactly
buy into the Bible. It's not a precious book that I need to worship. We're not supposed to have an idol. And what they've done, they've made that Bible everybody's idol. And it's copyrighted, and it sits in London. The copyright does.
Yep.
To this very day, because they never have let go of it.
Wow.
It was taken from other people's scripts, put together, pieced together to create this Bible that they want everybody to worship. And who's they worshiping? The one that had it all gathered together, their churches.
So what he did to Brian, he just comes in and, you know what I mean? What the point I was trying to make is, and we're so different. He's under that feeling, I think, early on. In 2018, it kind of was trying to get at me, you know what I mean? Photo Helix, we kept saying, it can't be God, it's the devil. You know what I mean? That's doing it. I don't know if y'all remember that.
The realm is real.
Photo Helix, he was saying, has to be the devil. Cannot be God. Outside of God's character. And
well, that's because you believe in God and you worship God.
Let's see how different we were. I was saying it had to be God. I was in Jerusalem, just like I told the story about X-Files and the residue. I said it was God, and he said devil, had to be devil. And there wasn't no change in his mind. But I still had to say, you know what? I love Photo Helix. You know what I mean? I love to watch his channel. I watched the hot seat. You know what I mean? Wasn't that so precious to me that, you know what I mean? I had to decided no. You know, just find a reason. He's a shill. And besides that, I didn't know. Just don't like him. You know what I mean?
We can learn from everyone, no matter what they believe. I think that they have, when they're speaking, they have something that we can.
It's a wonder we even talk to each other.
Learn from it.
Well,
that's the miracle.
Here's what we're going. We're coming up on going for a long time here tonight. But one of the things that gets me is, and this is a typical thing, that whoever that guy was not genuine at all. Okay, I caught him in his lie. Okay, he claims that he's part of the truth community and shit, but what possible truth could you be giving if you don't know anything about the topics? Okay,
and he would be coming in telling guys like Photo Helix, get lost. You know what I mean? You're hurting our community.
He's being truthful. Like, trolls are a part of the community. They're not a valuable part of the community, but
well, you're right on that. But I mean, the thing is like, come on, you were shown several instances. You found those yourself. I directed you to them, yet you have absolutely no explanation. He actually thinks that there was people, that it's possible that there's some kind of a fucking army of ninja cat burglars that know who has certain movies and who doesn't, and going into their houses and changing their fucking movie for swapping them out, swapping hubcaps on cars, changing fucking Bibles changing books,
I didn't hear that.
movies,
Saying
the
that.
whole 9 yards, man. And all while in the span of, well, somebody's gone to the store to get fucking bread and milk or something. You know, I mean, come on.
What I can't believe
Like,
you can do it.
in a
Hey,
computer
Holy
program,
crap.
like sometimes you get like an update on a video game or something, and certain things will change slightly.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe something like that. Maybe someone updated the fucking Matrix software or something. Who knows?
I don't know. Wouldn't it all change though?
What I can't believe didn't get us, and that was ET phone home.
Well, yeah, ET changed.
How can anyone believe he said ET home phone?
Right.
Well, he
Well,
was clearly differentiating from the ET cell phone.
He also he touched him on the heart before, and now he touches him on the forehead.
Can I say two things before I go to bed?
Yeah.
Dave.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to shut it down here in a minute anyway.
Okay. So one thing I was just thinking about that I wanted to say was that some of these people I think do have something to say. They're not all just shills. But I do think they're just flawed. Like maybe with these people like Russian vids and their followers and I don't know who else. There's a bunch of them that are so hardcore about this, like these. You cover your eye once and then they make a video about.
Yeah. Now you're look at he's a fucking Illuminati. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I feel like this guy that was on there, whatever his name was, like was into like Russian vids and like
Richie from Boston. Yeah.
Yeah, Richie from Boston, and like everybody's a shill. Everybody's a shill. And I feel like it is easy for somebody to fall down that pathway. And it doesn't mean that they're a bad guy. It just means that they fell down that pathway, and then like they're still a truther. They still kind of know the shit, but they've just gone a little bit too far.
I don't think that guy knows fucking shit. I really don't. I think he lied about every fucking thing that he said up here tonight.
I didn't watch the whole interview. I just came in at the end, so I didn't see the whole thing. So maybe I'm wrong, but I think a lot of people are like that start watching them, and that what's the guy fucking? This is a call for an uprising. Like I watched all those guys for a little while, and then I was like, fuck that. Like it's like so fucking retarded watching that shit like 24/7 fear porn, fucking crazy, fucking just blah 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 blah. And like everybody's a shill. Everybody's a shill. Like you can kind of tell if people are shill. Like we also have this innate way of judging people.
Yeah.
Just by ourselves, we have something in our head that we can tell if something's true or not.
Well, that and it's like his whole thing about he's a not just a shill, but a specific Mossad agent shill.
Yeah.
Why not a CIA? Why not a CIA? You want me to tell you why? Because he wanted to be and he was trying to call Brian on top of it too. You see what he was doing.
Oh, it's everything, man. I've heard of. I've seen like.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Here's what I'm gonna do. He accused Brian Staveley of being.
I know that's between them.
All right, no, wait a second. Let me finish. Damn it. Go ahead. All right, and then he said Dave Weiss and Jaron Campanella, that they were all Mossad agents or some kind of shit like that too. Now, I am going to Flattoberfest in October in Las Vegas, and
I got my tickets. I haven't booked my plane tickets, but I got tickets for the thing.
Cool. Yeah. So here's the deal, right? I'm going to be able to meet all these people in person. Now, of course, I talk to Brian Staveley all the time.
Quotes the verse at the deal. She says 7. And they use the verse as a justification for why he has multiple wives.
Yeah. See,
that's off.
That's
and when
off.
you see it, I think it may be something spiritual to happen for our brother in Sacramento. If he's still listening, encourage him to do that.
Right.
And I want to thank everybody, for being here. And I'm happy to have been encouragement to Brian as well.
Cool. Thanks, John. All right. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to just kind of go around here, and I'm going to leave y'all with my last thing. To the fella in Sacramento, listen, you know what I'm saying, and I'm not trying to be harsh, but goddamn it, time is short. Do some research. Quit relying on what other people say. Get off the goddamn Google, man. There's other ways to do these searches and find real truth. Secondly, as I said, refutation without investigation is the epitome of ignorance. So don't be ignorant. That's not an insult. That's just reality. And I would also encourage you that whatever you have stuck in your craw about a certain individual, Brian Staveley.
You want my take? I mean, this is a complete joke. Oh, and somebody in the chat wants me to address my Mossad affiliation.
That sounded more personal than it did sound thought out. Okay. So I would say that before going into a discussion or an argument, especially an argument, you should at least know both sides of the argument before you start mouthing off. There again, refutation without investigation, becoming the epitome of ignorance. So I want to thank everybody who stuck with us for this.
Till next time, Truth Seeker.